I'm sure these guys will be all over that as well. So from everybody here, thanks to Bears vs. Bulls, Ramin, Fabian, Andre, Brendo, Dara, of course, and all of you. Thank you for watching. Oh, did we get to that 2,000 here quickly? Yes, we did. So I want to say thank you so much to everybody out there as we get the 2,000 likes. So thank you so much for that. And let's, without any further ado, flip it over to the two gentlemen to my left in the midday show.
Get them.
Ciao.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade During the Midday. That is your boy, Joey Dang Options. And I'm Sharif. And we're going to wait for everyone to come on over. We got Ezekiel. How about my man, Corey? And shout out to the OG Gora. Fiddleback in the house as well. Shout out to Adam L., who's goading it up in the chat. Juan Padilla and Black. Yeah. Benson, we got T-Money. We got Celery 2, the day trading experience. Shout out to Sam Vincent and the Grenade. To read that. Paul Milligan, Adam Dluce. We got Philip Boyd, Peter Baljeet Jr., as opposed to senior, of course. Jimmy J and Grubbs. Yes, I'm hungry already. Evan, Mark Susi. We got Big Asian. Yes, Big Asian's back in the house. We got Andrew Chow and Nana. Scratch Trader Tisha, or Tisha, actually. I think the big boys say your name wrong. Tisha. What's up, Tisha? We got Stu. We got Jose Rodriguez, did you know? I didn't know.
Did you know?
But we know now, Joseph.
We know now, buddy.
A couple more over here up on this, you know what? The beautiful Gate, MC76, as well as Echo Steve. We got Scalping, like that name. The Great Texan, as opposed to, you know, Big Asian. We also have Alex Davis, and the trend is my friend, as the Obe, he is the one Kanob always says. We got Matt G, Samira Sheikh. We got Indeed Money. Sorry, Sean, can't find a name. There is literally somebody in the chat with that name, Katina, man. We got Pax, Randall, Leger. One more, Mr. Thumbs Up. I got deformed thumbs in case you can't tell. Like, look at this kind of thing over here, Joseph. Show your thumb. Show your thumb. Yeah, see, mine is like, it's got a little...
What'd you do there?
Oh, they're just deformed from birth.
Oh, okay. All right.
Good morning, my man.
Yeah, good morning, my brother. I mean, here we are. Yesterday was, what an epic session it was. Somewhat of a black swan event. NVDA down 17% at its lows. 700 billion wiped off the market cap at the lows as well too there, Sharif. That's almost 10 times the Canadian deficit right there. So there you go, just in one stock. Yeah, in one company. But it's true, man. It's absolutely insane, the amount of money spent. And then I was looking at the end of the day and how many shares were traded up until 8 p.m. And it was 818 million, a little bit more than that. And that's still only 3.5% of the float. So these numbers are absolutely astronomical. And I'm like, wow, what a crazy session. Not necessarily the bounce that we were looking for today. It is somewhat of an inside day, but it is what it is. We got a lesson, Sharif. Is there anything you want to touch on before we dive in?
Yes, sir. We are looking right now at 6 or 7 small cap gappers, some of them in play, some of them breaking down. Not all of them fit the technical term of a small capper, but they certainly trading like one. RNAZ coming back into the volume weighted average price. Also another area of technical support. And I hope you guys can see the charts a little bit better. It looks good on my screen there that you guys should be able to see the time frame that I'm looking at, as well as the ticker. So hopefully that works all there. Then I'm also looking at MBIO, another good mover, halted to the downside right now, halted at around 555. It did break into the high there at around 6 3/4. STIM, not giving you the biggest percentage move on the day, about 18.9%, but as you can see, holding the volume weighted average price quite well. BHF, a bit more of an expensive name, but at a key technical area, the volume weighted average price having about, 10 or 15 minutes of this stock at this price kind of keeps me wondering, do I take the dip trade here and then possibly something at around $62, $63? ASAN as well is the holdover from yesterday, trading at the day high, just got into that $22 area and rejected. And last but not least, Joseph, LTBR, kind of bull flagging here at 7 1/5. These are the ones I'm looking at. I'm also looking at DGHI. There wasn't room for it on this program. By the way, guys, new look over here for the black charts. This is e-signal, baby. We're locked and loaded with the e-signal. It's a hell of a platform. I've been using it for the last couple of days, really getting to know the software. It's quite robust. I'm quite impressed with it, and hopefully within the coming days, Joseph, we'll include the scanner so you guys can see what I'm looking at, because usually we don't bring up that scanner from the top screen because we're not sponsored by them. They're not paying up.
Okay,
they got to pay up.
Do they have chain on there?
Eh?
They have options chain?
They got everything, dude.
No
Options
way.
right there.
All right, so
right
I've
there,
seen
baby,
that.
right
Yeah,
there.
all right. Yeah,
Obviously, you
that'd
can connect this API as well. You're with IBKR,
Yeah,
you're with
yeah,
whoever, you can weasel in and connect e-signal over here. Great platform so
Be able
far,
to pull up
Joseph.
the chain. That would be absolutely wicked there. So here we go, guys. IBIT. Yeah, I'm done with this thing here. Getting smoked. We're gonna hop into the lesson in just a second here, guys. No, I'm all right. Just doing something here. Continuing to just bleed. Gonna get out of dodge. 3 stabs. That's it. See you later. Not gonna deal with that one. So here we go, guys. All right, we're gonna hop right into the lesson here and see what we got. We got some iron butterfly today, and I'm just gonna be totally as frank with you as possible here. This is. Yeah, pull it back up. Pull it back up. I like it. Yeah.
I gotta tell you, seeing myself in suspenders and a bow tie
No, I like
has
that.
me definitely wanting to go get myself a couple of those and show up here.
You know I like that. Look at, I like the
do
getup
like
here.
it.
Look, see, I'm wearing this here.
You
right
got
there.
that top button unbuttoned.
the
You're looking,
top button and
all
roll
like,
up the sleeves here.
I'm
there.
about to, mess up somebody like you did before on that video. Everything's fine.
I like it, man. Ironing stuff, man.
I'm telling you, Joseph, I'm gonna get myself suspenders and a bow tie.
Yeah, dapper. We look dapper there for sure.
Sick, bro.
A lot of butterflies. That's some good stuff. Yeah, love them. But yeah, here we go, guys. We're gonna hop into the iron butterfly. I'm just gonna be totally frank on this. It's a really difficult strategy to implement from a day-to-day basis. And the reason being we're going to touch on that is just you need to have an extreme level of accuracy on this thing. So it's not something that I implement from a day-to-day basis, but there's ways that you can still benefit from this trade, and we'll touch on that a little bit as well too. And I know a lot of traders like to learn about the iron butterfly. So, or trade the butterfly, sorry. And we're gonna do exactly that. We're gonna talk about it and see if you can grab something from it that you can implement on your day-to-day trading, all right? So let's get right into this here, guys. For those who are familiar, the iron butterfly, or who aren't familiar, the iron butterfly is a popular option strategy that consists of a combination of 4 contracts, both calls and puts in the same expiration cycle. It's designed for low volatility market environments and requires the underlying asset to close at a specific level and strike price, all right? So this you have to have pinpoint accuracy in this trading strategy, all right? So it consists of a net credit. This means it's also a fixed profit strategy, okay? So higher premium received also than the iron condor. You receive a higher premium in this strategy because of how accurate you need to be. So the options market is going to pay you for that, all right? But the thing is, it's so difficult to implement and actually be that accurate that you really want theta to just decay the value of some of your contracts, where you can collect some premiums and then before closing, you can just close the position, or before expiration, you can just close the position, all right? So it's really difficult to hold until expiration unless you hit that pinpoint accuracy. But again, you just let theta decay the value of the contracts, and then you can collect some premiums on that front. And we're going to get we're going to get more into that. So, all right. So this consists of 4 total contracts, as previously stated. So it's 1 short at the money call, 1 short at the money put, and 1 long out the money call, and 1 long out the money put, which may seem extremely difficult and slightly confusing, but most option strategies are just a combination of spreads. And when we talk about spreads, that's just a basic hedge, so you have 1 contract and you use another contract to hedge that position, protect your downside, etc. So this is exactly that. It's just a combination of 2 strategies put into one, just like the iron condor, all right? So the short at the money contracts can be classified as the body of the butterfly, okay? So one thing to make it a lot more simplistic is it's essentially a short stretch, and then you look for that massive increase in volatility. Well, this is the inverse, okay? You are shorting the at the money straddles, looking for price to not move that much, okay? That's really, really key and important. So the long out the money contracts act as the wing of the butterflies. This also protects the downside. This is the hedging aspect of this strategy, okay? So you have the two shorts, and then you have wing 1 and wing 2, or whatever it may be. And when people refer to broken wings, that's because the strikes, the long call and the long put strikes are somewhat offset, which creates a broken wing butterfly, which is a little more complex, all right? So we need to keep that in mind. So we have the shorts. The short contracts is the body, and then the wings are the long contracts, okay? But we'll get right back into this right after we get back from Madeira.
Some news here from our friends at Hive Digital announcing here that they have acquired the Paraguay site from Bitfarms. This is a 200 megawatt Bitcoin mining site, which allows them to basically scale their operations by 400%. There's also going to be opportunities for $20 million in revenue per employee and extra efficiency. So HIVE acquiring this Paraguay mining site from Bitfarms. Guys, check that out. Back to you.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, that's that there, guys. We're moving on to the next slide. Something was in the back of my mind I want to tell you, but it will pop up here. So market neutral based strategy, okay? So when we construct these two short options, that essentially means that we need that contract to close or expire at that fixed price there, at that strike price. That's where the extreme amount of difficulty comes into this strategy, okay? So what you really need in this one, and it's the kind of the total opposite of most credit-based trading, you need to enter this trade into low volatility market environments. Theta works in your favor, hence why it's a credit-based trade, okay? So keep that in mind. The maximum loss is pre-calculated and defined and only triggers when the position closes above or below your long call and put. So keep that in mind, okay? So one thing I want you guys to keep in mind is that when we're constructing an iron condor, we're essentially creating a range, right? We're creating a range that we allow that underlying asset to close within, and then that's how you become profitable. In the iron butterfly, you need these contracts to expire at that exact strike price, and that's where the difficulty in this strategy comes, all right? So let's keep that in mind. Now let's take a look at how this is constructed, okay? So here we go, SPY, printed this up yesterday for you guys, just constructed a quick iron butterfly. So as you can see, we have the short contracts here at the money, so $5.99 is the at the money strike prices, and then we construct our wings by protecting it, buying the long options on either side of these short options, okay? So let's keep that in mind. The same width and relatively close to the same delta as well too, for those long options, okay? Now, you can think, okay, Joe, well, how do you implement delta in these? Well, the thing is, you don't want to necessarily use delta for your long contracts because they're gonna expire worthless. The objective of this is for everything to expire worthless, so hedging your deltas doesn't really matter unless it depends how much you want to hedge the position to reduce your premiums, okay? So keep that in mind as well too. And the farther away that your long strikes and puts are, the more the loss, but also the greater the gain, okay? So just keep that in mind. So this is the risk profile here. You can see the probability of profit, something that I always keep in mind, especially when utilizing the deltas come in play. When we have these probabilities of profit in iron condors, they're significantly higher, so we'll keep that in mind. But you can see the profit range here on the iron butterfly is very, very narrow. Pinpoint accuracy required. So the objective of this strategy is just to allow theta to diminish some values of the contracts over a couple of days because expiration at that exact strike is going to be extremely difficult, okay? So pros and cons here. So limited risk and defined losses, unlike short straddles and strangles, okay? So one thing that's really key, you know that there's a risk to reward skew in credit spreads in iron condors. That's not the case here in straddles. You can usually set up a straddle to hit like a 2-to-1 profit ratio, even 3-to-1 sometimes, all right? So you profit from time decay. high net credits received compared to other credit-based trades. Okay, so those are some of the pros. And here are some of the cons. Narrow profit range, extremely narrow. Accuracy is extremely important. High assignment risk due to the short options and how accurate you have to be, and requires very close monitoring because you don't want to be in these for too long, excuse me, unless you have a full-out conviction that that contract is going to expire at those short ones. So that's the Iron Butterfly, guys. If you have any questions, make sure you put them in the chat. I see Officially already has them in there, so we're going to read over those. But first, we're going to see what my guys got cooking up over there.
All right, we got a couple of prints here on RNAS. It's coming down in, though. I want to take it out if it hits my entry. I appreciate you, Dara. Look, I'm looking at taking it out next at the $0.0002. I was caught in a downhaul. Let's call a spade, and it was because of a fat finger. I tried to get out, and I ended up adding. So I put a script order to get me the hell out of there if it broke 10. It didn't break 10. It defended 10. Now it's back at 11 1/3. I'm waiting at 11 2/3. I took out 11 1/4, 11 1/2, and now I'm waiting at 11 2/3. We're taking out some shareage here incrementally, but it's having trouble breaking through the volume weighted average price. I'm talking about RNAS, and here it comes into my entry, and I'm not going to let this go anything against me because this was an accidental trade to be long this trade below VWAP. That ain't my rule. My rule is to trade these small cap gappers north of the volume weighted average price. I fat fingered. I'm trying to kind of alleviate some of that trouble. So rejecting VWAP for now. We de-risk the majority of it, and here it comes into my entry again, and then I'm gone on this trade. Break dang even. Why won't it let me out? Oh, this is really interesting. I like that. All right, well, here we go. We'll just punch out over here, just like this, because the flatten key won't work. There we go. Now we're done. What is happening with this thing? Okay, what am I doing here? Sorry, one second, guys. No, I'm good. Just unsure why this is acting in the way that it's acting. Flatten out, bro. It won't flatten out. This is so weird. Okay, let's do this again. Here we go. There we go. Now we are done the trade. Profitable. So we'll dodge one there. So here we go. The next trade that I've got on is this one. BHF entered at 60, took out some at 60.50. It's back down into 60.40. This was a volume weighted average price hold. So we get the print at the $0.50. Now let's go ahead and wait north of the $0.50. How many shares do I have? Okay, on this. So we'll go ahead and wait at 55s. No, that's not the one I want. I already had the 50. What am I doing? All right, so let's go ahead and wait in the high 60s there. Let's see if we can get something in around there. This one is rounding nicely here. Shout out to my man, Big Spile Burdette. He probably say this looks awfully rounded bottomish, except the thing is it's rounding off VWAP, now rounding off the bottom. So BHF is the other one I'm involved in right now. This one's up 17.8%, 17.87%, excuse me. And it has about a $3.5 billion market cap with only about 2 million shares traded on the day, 61.33 million share float with, let's find out what the short float is here, BHF. Trade idea says 2.25%, so nothing really to write home about there. I do like the pattern. I do like that $60 defend, and I like how it overlaps with the volume weighted average price. I'm talking about that $60 level. So let's see if it can mosey its way up above that $0.50. I'm waiting now in the high 60s. Here we go, 57s now, 61s on the ask now. It's about an 11 penny spread, give or take. So it's going to have to cross that 60 some odd penny level for me to get filled there. So keeping an eye out on that. I think I've also got a dip trade over here on your boy STIM. And I ain't talking about those stimmies that Biden was sending out. I'm talking about this one, STIM up 25.1% on the day. It's got wide range per candle. What does that mean? That means every candle is pretty wide. You're going to have to deal with the volatility, basically every single candle. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a second. Just looking here at BHF to see if we got the print. Nope, still showing me 62s. Let me show you guys what I mean, though, when I say range per candle is quite wide. Let's bring in the trusty window from our friends there at eSignal. So this is the one I'm looking at here, bottom middle screen, STIM. As you can see, each candle, significant percentage of the range per candle on the day. So This candle, for example, let's take this one here at 10:45. The low of this one is 3, and the high made the high day at 3:30. Kind of this one. How about this one over here? Low of 306, high of 328. So relative to the price of the stock, it's very rangy and very, hard to manage risk sometimes when that is the case. All right, here we go. Showing 62s now on the ask for BHF. So I'm going to pack my patience on this one. Hopefully we get the print awfully soon, but Adair is at the big desk.
Sorry for the interruptions here. We do have JBLU down about 26% at day's lows. This was an earnings day we didn't really get to talk much about here, but because it's making some moves here off its earnings call, which began at 11 a.m. They did actually beat here on EPS, or I guess smaller than expected loss per share, and they beat on sales, but seems like some of the things said in this call are not being well received. The CEO of the company said that they need to be focusing on how they're managing their elevated labor costs because their aircraft groundings are very much an issue. Apparently, they're going to be increasing their aircraft groundings to in the mid to high teens. So you see significant increase in grounded aircrafts for JBLU, but the CFO says that they expect they're going to be ending 2025 with a healthy liquidity buffer. So interesting note here, 2025, of course, they just reported Q4 2024, so that's about a year away. But I guess healthy liquidity buffer on watch for JBLU as it tries to break new low of days. Guys, make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content.
Thank you very much for that. Adair, what do you got, Joseph?
Yeah, just sitting here in some NVDA. Let's see if we can get this thing to somewhat start to recover. I suspect that it's going to be an inside day as we can take a look at the daily and see what we got going on from that perspective. And here we are. So yeah, you can see okay, yeah, never mind here. So you can see that we have this massive gap down here. That was part of the pre-market. And then now we opened up inside of this range. In order for us to break through here, we're going to need some momentum. The opens here, and then now we're just hovering around. So I suspect that it's going to be somewhat of an inside day on NVDA here. So not looking for too much crazy of a continuation or a recovery. I think we're going to need some headlines out in order for this thing to regain the ground that it's lost over the past, or over yesterday anyway. So, but we had some questions from Danny Nash. BTC dumping MSTR puts. Yeah, well, I would go IBIT puts, man. I told Sharif I'm frustrated with this thing, so it's time to start selling some premiums. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm frustrated. I'm not even gonna lie. So again,
we're just scratching the surface.
We're just yeah, I know we're just scratching the surface, man. But it's like a consolidation phase for 8 months, move for a couple weeks, back into the phase. I talked about it the other day. So it's like, okay, it's like I have some shares. Time to start selling some premiums against this here, just to collect a little side profit there, so a little passive income, because I have the ability to do that. So yeah, TQQ's making higher lows towards the top. This could be a flat top break, stop right below the previous highs. All right, nice Gorev, nice look there. I'm like looking for NVDA to kind of come and test this pre-market level here, this resistance around 122. I do think that we can recover to around the mid 120s here on today's session. So we're going to hold on to this position until we get about that, or price action tells us otherwise that we're going to turn around. Google went on a monster run, guys, and I want to point out these signals because I point them out all the time, and I told you it's such a massive part of my trading playbook. I really only have 2 strategies that I've refined over time, but just look at this, guys. And I talk about it time and time again. I pointed to Yusuf, I'm like, VPA is so fantastic. I love volume price analysis because the signals are so decisive and so strong. Do they work 100% of the time? No, but when they're really there, they do. Look at this hammer at an extreme low while the market is continuing to sell. It's like, okay, are we gonna really dump again after yesterday's session? No, chances are the majority of sellers are exhausted. So look for those turnaround price signals, and that's exactly what I did in NVDA, and unfortunately I missed Google, but here you have the isolated volume signature with that isolated hammer candle, and then the stock doesn't even look back after that. So that's a really good look. I didn't see it until too late, but I'm like, man, what a beautiful signal. I talk to you guys about them all the time. They are there, they display themselves. That's why we go over the volume price analysis lessons all the time, and I like doing it frequently. I'll update it and everything, just so you can see that these signals, and I guess when you have more seat time, more saddle time, you're gonna have the ability to identify them at when and wheres, right? So where are you looking for them, and when are you looking for them? Market exhausted, okay. That's the when. Where at extreme highs, lows, or around key levels, okay? Like volume weighted average price I use at an extreme high or at an extreme low. So that is Google. I think this was one of the better trades of the session next to Amazon. So we'll see what's going on there. If we get a pullback, hold the volume weighted average price, get some indecision around there, then maybe we can look to participate in those guys.
Oh, you came hard with that. All right, shout out to my man Z. He wants me to look at AMD, the advanced money destroyer, Joseph. So let's load up that bad boy, see what AMD's up to today. I think I did I have AMD on the downgrades or upgrades list today? It was downgrades, Adara. Thank you. Yes, we did have AMD downgraded, I believe, by Melius. It was Melius downgraded there with a price target of 129. It's a little bit higher than where it's trading right now, guys. Obviously trading at $1.13 with the closing print right at that 115 area. So AMD looks to be, my man Z, rejecting off the 50 exponential moving average on the 5, and that's not one I typically earmark for an intraday trade, but one that seems to be respected right now. So here we go. Pre-market rejection at the 50 at 820. Then the implied balance high right there at 930 does wake up into that high day 116, but look where the closing print is. South of that red line, the red solid line will always be the 50 exponential on my black charts. And then yet again, we work into that 50 exponential at 1025 and we reject again. Now, the other side of the case is it might not have anything to do with the 50 exponential at all. Why? Because look at this area consolidation here in the pre. From 815 to the implied balance open at 930. Look at the low end of that range. It's a $114, a 114, high 80s, mid 80s. So we move up there and then we reject off the low end of the range. So maybe I'm seeing what I want to see here in the sense that it looks like it's rejecting off the 15 or the 50, excuse me. But that doesn't really matter because what really matters here is the lower high and lower low situation. It is a downtrend right now on AMD. And, you know, probably not catching much of a bid today after the shellacking yesterday because of the downgrade by Melius. So I didn't have a chance to read what Melius wrote to see kind of what the thinking is there. Let's see if I can get a quick synopsis of that. Here it is. Cuts AMD to hold. Nope. So it wants me to go somewhere else for that. Yeah, not really able to see it right now, though, guys. So I'll have a look at that in a little bit. But AMD headed to the downside. I like it to maybe around that 113 area to test those lower days again. It is kind of at the volume weighted average price at 114.10. It's dropping below that now at 113. And 2/3. And then shout out to my other man there. What's his name? Dingleberg, PDD. He's like, PDD's getting shellacked on that Amazon news. So apparently the FTC is questioning Temu about Amazon pricing policy. Not really sure what that's about. Didn't have an opportunity to read that either. Got to delve into that one when I have the opportunity, but it's obviously not a good headline. PDD selling off about 2 1/3 now in the negative. Now this one looks awfully respectful of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. Again, that one is going to be the green, what's it called? Trend line right there on my black chart. So we're going to keep an eye out on PDD as well because this could be a really interesting short off that 10 exponential if it does catch a bit of a bounce. Chinese ADRs, as I see it there on my side chart, all getting shellacked. BABA up 2/3. We have 10 cent, not 10 cent music, but 10 cent on the OTC. That's also up 0.5%. And then Futu, F-U-T-U, Futu Holdings up about 1.25%. Don't know what the headline is on those bad boys, but everything else on my Chinese ADRs watch list is in negative land with the majority being, you know, low single digits. All right, guys, we've worked our way into STIM. This one I got in a bit of a dip trade here at 311s. We're gonna have to see if this bad boy holds up. I'd like this one to hold above 3. So the volume weighted average price on STIM is showing me about 305. But because of its proximity to $3, I'm gonna give this to below 3. It's gonna have to hold up there, which is also the 20 exponential moving average on my 5-minute chart. So if it doesn't hold the 3, the 10, the 20, we're gone. We're taking a bit of a dip trade here. Let's set up orders to the high side, see if we can weasel out of some of this if it does catch a bit of a bid to the upside. Let's see exactly what we get there. Okay, BHF now coming down in below, I should say, the volume weighted average price. There is an area candle at 10:50 a.m. that got all the way down to about 59.31. We're at 59.52 right now. So I'd like for this one, I had my stop below 59, so I risked the dollar on this one. However, ideally, I'd like for it to hold above that candle at 1050, that 5-minute candle that printed at 1050. Again, the low of that is 59.31, so ideally would hold above the third of a dollar there to retest the volume weighted average price. It looks like it's caught in a bit of a range after a big move up off that $51 closing print on BHF yesterday, and then we got all the way up to $64 and find ourselves in a bit of a consolidative look right now on the 5. So keep tabs on that one. Here comes STIM, possibly to the high side here. I'm waiting at 14s to get printed. 14s are showing, 15s now showing up on the ask, not getting printed because of 3-penny spread on this name. So we're gonna have to pack our patience with this bad boy. There's also another one, ASAN. I was hesitant, to be honest with you guys, about punching into this one because it was trading at the highs. It was holding the 10 exponential moving average quite well. But I said, look, you know, this looks like it's bull flagging right now. Why don't I try to pick this up at the low end of the range? The low end of the range to me was around 2150 to 2160. Didn't fill me. Now it's on the way up into about 2190. So it looks destined to give that $22 area a try, or the old college try as we call it on this desk. We'll see if I can weasel my way into ASAN. I've got it loaded up on a trading screen somewhere over here. I think I do. There it is. About to take out that $22 area. As I look at the book now, no real size showing up at the whole dollar. So likely if we reject that area, it will be an iceberg order. So we'll keep tabs on that. Okay, we got multiple prints now on stimulus over here. Shout out to the stimmies, baby. Right? So we're going to wait up here at 28. Good look right now as it zigs and zags, but be careful with STIM, guys. As I mentioned at the top there, the range per candle is awfully wide. That needs to factor in to your stop placement, to your beak wetting placement. Let me know how it goes if anybody trades with Jose.
Let me put on some quotes here, guys. There. Okay, still a little bit too high. But yeah, sitting in this NVDA here still, guys, waiting for us to break this range. Are we going to, or just run into these pre-market lows here as resistance and have the inability to break? But I think if we can break through, then 122 halves can be a next potential target. Nick W., our good friend in the chat. Joe, can you take a look at Doc N? For sure, anything for you, my guys. Long swing a few days ago, loved the company, took the 26 calls, waiting to add more at 38. If it does a big retracement, a retracement a bit, he says. Okay, love it. We just went over these signals here, Nick W. So maybe you're gonna get that retracement. I don't know about into 38 from an intraday standpoint right now. That wouldn't be too pretty, but you're already sitting on some pretty pennies right now with those 26 calls. I would love to know your expiration date on that as well too, my guy, but let's zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily perspective. So I like this, Nick W, I like this. Not too familiar with the company, but from a technical standpoint, as we break this resistance level here, this kind of tells me, hey, do we want to go and test these pivot high levels? And with this price action and with the volume, you're going to get that yes from me, okay? So maybe look for that price target if it does decide it wants to pull back, but also be wary of any rejection around those key levels. You got those 26 calls. Hopefully you didn't already buy them in the money and then you allowed them to appreciate. Remember, time value is always key when constructing your options contracts. You know that. You've been doing this for a while, Nick W. But that's what I would look for. As of right now, that price action is relatively strong, and maybe it is due for somewhat of a pullback, but today's session is really good, and I would look for the test of these pivot highs and somewhat of a profit area around there, or maybe at the bottom of the range as well too, which you're starting to approach right now. So that would be my kind of thesis on this. And if you want to, like, hold a couple contracts to profit targets, but just hopefully you bought enough time as well too on those contracts. But I like this as for a swing play. Other than that, if we zoom out a little bit farther, I would have to give the big nod on the no, but you're looking for the swing, which is totally fine. You can swing a lot of things. And here we go in Digital Ocean there, Nick W, looking like you're doing pretty good on that one, my friend. So now here we're starting to break on NVDA. just being a little patient on this one as we have to. And Greg V and I were just talking last night. We're like, man, you need so much. It's starting to become like Apple from a float standpoint. You need so much capital in order to move this underlying asset.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like exactly. And that's why it always has so much volume, is because in order for it to move, you need that capital to come. You need those inflows within the market. And that's why you see multiple fake outs and it gets really choppy. And that's kind of like Apple's price action sometimes there, Sharif, is that it just takes so much and then it's like fake out one, fake out two, and then finally someone big enough comes in to move the price here. So I would like to see some volume step in so we can break this key resistance level. And then I mentioned before, we can look at 122.5 or 123 even here on NVDA. But mind you, we're not even anywhere close to recovering what we lost yesterday, and once we enter that gap to the top side, best believe your boy is going to be looking for a swing play.
All right, shout out to my man, Abdullah. He wants to know what the deal is with Tesla, my opinion on Tesla, seeing that it's reporting tomorrow. So obviously I'm not qualified to give you fundamental analysis, but there's others who are, and I get to review what they're saying. So let's talk about it. So investors, a lot of people, I wouldn't say just not investors, we're waiting for that new low-cost vehicle. You want to call it the Model Q, have at it. You want to call it the Model 2, have at it as well. I don't care what you call it, just release it. Because, well, it'll definitely help EV adoption, seeing that it's supposed to have a markedly lower price tag than the Model 3. Now, I'm going to digress for a second here. I want to talk about the Model 2 possibly causing demand destruction for the Model 3. So a lot of people, they compromise on the price, pay a little bit more than they maybe would have wanted by the Model 3. Maybe those people end up buying the Model 2 and not so much the Model 3. We're going to have to wait and see, even though it just got a bit of a refresh. But that is being discussed right now in kind of the Tesla circles about the possible new smaller model causing demand destruction for the Model 3. This is all speculative, of course. We'll have to wait and see what the deal is. Now, what we do want is to see whether they're going to reaffirm, Tesla that is, their goal of a 30% increase in deliveries in 2025. That's what they earmarked in the last earnings call. That obviously will be supported by a new model that's cheaper because it'll allow more participants into the EV world. So, we talked about this before. Elon Musk said something around $25,000. I don't think that price jives anymore with the current state of the electric vehicle market. I think inflation has really had a way of destroying cheaper EVs. So $25,000, I think, is just like a pipe dream a little bit, but we'll keep eyes on that. Secondly, we know that they also dropped last year, 2024, that is, in terms of sales. Right? Their sales numbers were not as good year over year compared to 2023. So this year they're forecasting 2.1 million cars in 2025, which is a 16% increase. I want to see where that's going to come from, whether it's going to be possibly the new Juniper, the Model Y, kind of the refresh there, moving the needle, whether it's the Model 2 or the Model Q or whatever that is going to do it there, as long as we definitely get that increase year over year. Then FSD. We're expecting gross margins for FSD to contract a little bit over here because they've dropped the price. Now, I'll give you an example. Full self-drive in this country was about, I think, $15,000 at one point, maybe even a little bit more, maybe towards $18,000 or $19,000 in Canada. That is, it's a lot cheaper right now. I think you're getting it for about $10,000, maybe a little bit less. In other words, margins are contracting a little bit for full self-drive. Where are they going to make up that money? That's what I want to hear more information of. And obviously, I want to hear about the lower production costs that could come in with economies of scale, obviously, as what they want to do is they want to be able to use the current production lines that they got for the Model 3, I believe, for the Model 2 or the Model Q, whatever that is. That'll help with cost savings. So that's all stuff that I want to hear on the earnings call. Obviously, Elon Musk has a way of digressing from the topic at hand with the earnings call. Last time it was kind of hard to keep a train of thought there because he was talking about a bunch of other stuff. So my opinion is if we get good information about the Model 2, the Model Q, what their projections are for those cars, and what time in the year we expect? Is it going to be a Q3 delivery, a Q4? Like, so the first half or the second half of 2025? That's what I want to hear about, obviously. There's so much more to talk about. There's the energy side of things, their battery segment, their solar segment's been picking up steam a little bit the last couple of quarters, so that could also be interesting. I don't know, though, especially with the new administration, I don't think that solar is going to be as much in focus. But Tesla has been holding this support line for a while now. It's acted as support and resistance. This trend line that I've got over here, it's defending it on the day. It's down about 2%. We'll have to see how it all works out for them tomorrow. Make sure to hang out with us after the bell, as we will be bringing you that news, obviously, with, I believe, it's going to be Sean. Oh, tomorrow. Tomorrow. It's going to be actually me and Neil at the big desk, and Adira's joining us as well. So that should be an interesting one.
You guys got to have an all-star lineup.
Oh, we got a big Wednesday one. We're doing like an earnings party.
Oh, earnings party. Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So that's the look right now, guys. We'll see exactly how that all ends up doing. Joseph.
Yeah. Officially, yeah, it is delta neutral, right? Because of the wings on the butterfly strategy, and then you have both the short at the money. So it is delta neutral. You are very right. And am I looking to do some earnings plays via options? I'm just gonna be frank with you, dude. Like, I got too much size right now in some of my positions, and I'm not overly happy with how they've been performing. So I just don't want to put that a little bit extra stress on me via options. So I'm human too, man. So I got size on, so I gotta like relax and take a couple steps back, and that's why I said I'm just had it up to here with kind of the way that and Saylor and company have been acting with Bitcoin. So yeah, I'm frustrated with that. It's kind of growing my dislike to Saylor, but that's the thing, right? You don't want to get allow emotions to get involved, but they do. And sometimes you got to be a little opinionated as well. So there it is. Saylor, not the biggest fan of them right now. And what else I got going on? It's just too much. So Roger, I don't play every inning season.
Really
Yeah, I am. I'll tell you. Yeah, I will really tell you how I feel today, man.
I feel
there's no way. But I mean, like from an intraday trading standpoint, I love earnings season. Like you show me that price action is there. Love the price action, the decisiveness in the earnings reports as well too. So that's something I really, really enjoy. So keep that in mind. That's when I actually perform the best, to be honest with you. So yeah, rolling into earnings season, that's my time. But as for like overnight options risk and etc., and having to worry about leverage products, not feeling it right now, man. Not feeling it right now at all. But NVDA starting to pull back into some price ranges that I don't necessarily like. The overall market is continuing to sell off here. Monstrous opening drives on the Qs and the SPY, but now giving back some of those gains. I don't know if I got to take a look to see if we're negative or positive on the day, and here we'll just do that to make things more simplistic. So yeah, I mean, we're still slightly positive here, about 7/10, 6/10 here on the session. But we gapped up, right? So here we are, a little sell-off, climbing a little bit higher. Not anything of a recovery that I would be looking for toward, from an NVDA aspect or perspective, and the overall market, it's essentially pennies on the dollar in that aspect. So, but yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that right after we get from Adira.
We're going to do our earnings segment, but before we do that, there's actually a lot of news to get into that I'm just seeing come through now. Apparently, Starlink, which is owned by SpaceX, is going to be providing some reliable high-speed connectivity to Oracle's enterprise communications platform, so ORCL, and SpaceX, or Starlink, I guess, apparently teaming up. Also keep an eye on some of these retail names, because LVMH just reported their revenue for the fiscal year. Apparently, it was up 1% year over year, so keep an eye on some of these retail players with that LVMH report. And with earnings in mind, it's time to do our earnings segment, which we do every day around 11:40 a.m. when we do have earnings season, which of course we do right now. So let's start here with Boeing. BA did actually have a miss on EPS and on sales, so larger than expected loss, and also their sixth straight annual loss. So every year since 2018, they have been losing on the year. Not a great look there for BA, but CEO Kelly Ortberg apparently making some comments when he was asked during their conference call if he thought 75 to 80 deliveries would be doable for the 787 this year. He said, for sure, and said it might even be a little better. He also said there's some hope there that they might be able to get through these completed Lufthansa planes that they haven't been able to quite ship yet because there's some seating issues. So they think they'll be able to get those out. But the CFO making some kind of cautious comments as well, saying that their $87.5 billion of inventory is, quote, too much, and that they do expect their deliveries for 737s to be a little bit lighter here in February because there's fewer working days. So interesting stuff there for BA. But what about Royal Caribbean and on the topic of cruise and airline related things here? So RCL having a EPS beat, EPS miss, distinctly different from Boeing when it comes to the numbers. They also did here have adjusted earnings per share guidance for the fiscal year, mostly above expectations, and they're expecting a 2.5 to 4.5% year-over-year increase in net yields. JetBlue is also reporting there just straight to the downside, down about 26%. And here's our brand new TTV research earnings calendar here. So I'll be making these every week. This one has not been posted yet on X. It will be posted right now. So you guys are the first to see our brand new earnings calendar. Very excited to debut this. Tonight we get Starbucks. We also get Chubb, which is a Warren Buffett play. Then tomorrow morning we get ASML, which I think should be really exciting, Progressive Insurance, and T-Mobile. So a couple interesting names tomorrow morning. And tonight, before we get that earnings party on Wednesday, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. Joseph, anything?
Yeah, well, officially, man, me and officially over here on Burden, we're talking options. And again, the more I talk about it, the more I get involved just due to the passion. And I was like, dude, seriously, I was looking at the options chain the other night, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to look to do this. Maybe I'll buy something that's a couple weeks out, and then I'll just buy an extremely out-the-money 500 call on Tesla, which was around $2.95. So this is me game planning as I do every evening. So that's what I was looking to. Now officially, you're kind of talking me into it, even though I just said like, hey, I didn't want to do anything. But the more you talk about it, the more I kind of talk myself into it. So maybe we'll do that because the premiums aren't overly expensive. Let me pull it up now. And when I was looking at it the other day, it was significantly, I'm assuming it's going to be significantly cheaper because the options market is going to start pricing in the volatility, right? So the February 14th officially on Burden, the 500 call is around $2.32. I'm looking to have some fun with that. So maybe we can do that because we'll still have some extrinsic value because the report is after the bell. So maybe we'll look to participate in that. But if it decides that it wants to sell off, then it's not going to be a good trade whatsoever, obviously. But if it does rip, I do think we can get into those mid-4s. So that's what I'm going to look at to do. Not an overly expensive contract, willing to risk the majority of the premium on that type of trade. Because it's so far out the money, we can have a little bit of fun with that. And the delta's like 0.08. So the one thing that can happen is when we get that volatility increase on the earnings print, then we can get that gamma and delta squeeze that we're looking for. And that's why a lot of traders, like I'm pretty sure it's Darwin and Darius Golden, they like buying those out the monies, looking for that high increase in implied volatility. So this is the instance where we would want to do that. And I'm not going to play a straddle or anything along those lines. I'm just looking to have a little fun, far out the money, get involved in those Greek squeezes, and then see what we can happen and see if we can get a little fun off of that, brother.
All right, man. We just took $1.50 there on RNAZ. Happy with this trade. I was negative on it, trying to get back positive. Look, I fat-fingered and ruined my cost basis because I ended up punching in rather than taking some out at $12.80. But we got the $13 break. I was just talking to Pretty Dang Panda in the chat, and I was telling him I'm looking for that $13 break and take right now on RNAZ, and it was a good move up. Now we've got that higher low, higher high situation on. So originally I did punch in at $11.95, and then we were scalping. I fat fingered over here and added some at $12.70, fundamentally screwing up my cost basis, but we were able to get some out at the best print there at 13 1/3. So I'm really happy with this trade. Looking to execute some more on it over here. Let's see if we can continue to move up right now on RNAZ. It looks quite aggressive, getting parabolic over here. Here we go. I punched long. Let's take out some right there. Where are we long? 64s. Let's go ahead and wait at 888s over here. And then we'll layer into 14 if it'll have me. Here we go. H showing up now. Seller at 8. Boom, boom, up from the top. Let's take out some now at the north of 14. Boom, again on RNAS. Nice on RNAZ. Good breakout right now on RNAZ. Here comes the halt, guys. 1427, halt level 1477. HOD. Keep your eye out on this one. Now we got a triple-digit winner on the day, up at 109%, and we're going to halt here if we have another few seconds, and now we are officially halted with the theoretical auction price being about 1 penny higher than the halt level. RNAZ up 109%, taking out that $14 level, taking out that $13 level. Still, though, below that HOD that we printed at, I'll tell you guys exactly, 10:45, so 15 minutes before the show, 14 3/4 right now. I'm happy that I added to this one because usually it's not really my modus operandi to add into the break like that, but I think that I definitely have to get better with that. $14 now, the theoretical auction price. The tap, I'll always here, guys, I know it's super small, but this is YouTube, so you can zoom in if you're watching mobile. Right here, 1403. TAP, theoretical auction price. You'll always see that up on my screen anytime that I've got this one up. So RNAZ in focus. Now, the one that we haven't been doing that well on, the one that I've been waiting on to reclaim that $60 level is BHF. Now, we do have a 50 penny out on this one at 60.50, but it seems like we're locked in a range right now between 59.50 and $60. Well, I'm long at $60, so this pleases me greatly. Yeah, let's see if this one wants to reclaim the level. I mean, I don't see necessarily a lower high, lower low situation. I perceive it to be a bit of a consolidative move. As I mentioned earlier, I have my stop below $59. It's going to have to maintain a price above 59 for me to stay involved right now with with BHF. It's not technically a small cap gapper. What got me into this trade was the aggressive move up and then the pulling back and the holding at VWAP. I said to myself, okay, you know, this could be an interesting one, picking it up off the volume weighted average price. Initially, it was good. Now, I'm kind of having some doubts about that. So we'll keep definitely some eyes on BHF. Now, I was talking about this one as well, ASAN, an interesting one here, no question, but it's now breaking down below the 10 exponential. Now, sorry guys, on the new e-signal, I've only included VWAP as my indicator on there. So the white line, that's a volume weighted average price. Sadly, I don't have my moving averages up just yet. I will be putting those on, I promise, in the coming days with the same color scheme so that everything is the same. Now, what I'm looking for here on ASAN is a pullback into about 21. Sorry, Andre?
No.
I'm waiting for ASAN to come in about 21 1/4. That's where the volume weighted average price is here on ASAN. So I'm keeping an eye on that one. I might set a dip trade to account for that 21 1/4. If it, yeah, we'll see. Let's load up ASAN over here. Let's have a look. So, yeah, that 21, and this chart is showing me 21 1/3, but this populates this chart, P-Pro 8, the white charts start populating a little bit later than when the charts for my black charts start populating. They start populating at 4 a.m., the data that is. So, yeah, Neil, of course, brother, I'll send that over right away. So that's the look right now on ASAN. I'm going to put a dip trade. It's okay, Andre, no worries. I'm going to put a dip trade here at 21 1/4. Come what may, it's the volume weighted average price. Look, if it comes down into that 21 1/3, I'm going to pick it up. What's going on over there, Joseph?
NVDA finally moving there. The dollar club, man.
Dollar club?
Yeah.
Look how suddenly he says that. He's like, yo, hit the damn button.
Hit that button, man. Hit that button. Starting to break out here. I mentioned before, 22.5s, 123. We're looking for somewhat of a recovery here on NVDA, guys. So that's that. We're getting that move. Yeah, that's all I can really say, man. We're getting that move that we were expecting here. That's slowly starting to recover, but still somewhat of an inside day, my guy. You can finish up what you have.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just looking, coffee trader there. He's telling me NVNI. Quick look, please. Absolutely. What a polite guy. Love it. Let's load it up. NVNI. If you guys were with us yesterday, this is one of the ones we were involved in. It's a former mover. You can tell that. It's a former runner, a former mover, whatever you want to call it. Just looking at the daily chart over here, it has these outsized days. Recently, it's been moving, mid to late December. Again here now in the later part of January, it's starting to move again after having a week or two off the volatility. Now, it's above the volume weighted average price, a respectable percentage increase on the day, 17.1%. Still very much an inside day, though, Coffee Trader. Look how ensconced we are here with within the price action of yesterday. The high yesterday took us all the way up to 685, and the lows were all the way down to 275. Today, the low 4.25, the high 560. That is after the bell, of course. The pre-market low 374, and the after the bell high is higher than the pre-market high. Okay, I'm going to digress for a second, Coffee Trader, because RNAS is open and it's flying to the high side here. It just took out 15. It got into about 1540s, dropping now, though, into 14.5. The volatility is fast and dang furious right now on RNAS, up over 100%. Zigging and zagging like a madman right now, moving 40, 50 pennies at a time here with this spread really opening up on RNAZ. It's got quite a bit of volume, 20 million shares under its belt. You wonder why it's acting so erratically, but that's because people are coming in with aggressive orders. Now, here we go. Coming back into 14.5. It looks like it's defending 14. Generally, it did wick below 14 ever so briefly into about 13.75, and then rocketed up right back above 14. Now it's testing that $15 area. RNAZ is on one, baby. We're going to keep an eye out on this one. But to go back into NVNI, Coffee Trader, I do like the higher low, higher high pattern that we're doing right now. I wouldn't be quick to base anything off VWAP right now, which is sitting at 490. What I'd like to do, or if I was to work into this one, I'd try to take something off the pullback and look for the higher high and the higher low, because that's what you've been getting. It's an upward channel, essentially since 9:45 today. We almost went green to red, popped up into that high, and then went red ever so briefly, into that 4.25, and then we kind of got our footing under ourselves right now with the higher high, higher low upward channel that it's been putting in. Trying to break above 5 right now on NVNI. Joseph, what's your look over there, my man?
I'm just talking with I Need Money and Greg V. He's got it going. I Need Money says, I said we need money, so here we go with that. Moving really nice to the top side, starting to break out, running into those pre-market highs there, guys. Trading really, really nice. So what else did I see? Yeah. So no one else who is probably one of the largest tech bulls that you know from CNBC?
CNBC or some of the analysts?
CNBC.
Tech bulls.
Tech bulls, yeah.
Josh Brown.
Josh Brown,
He's
okay.
quite tech.
Okay.
He's a pragmatic guy, though.
Who is the bull of all bulls?
But is he an analyst that comes on?
Yeah, he's
Danny Ives.
Danny Ives.
Obviously,
Okay, so what did Danny Ives have to say about NVDA yesterday?
I don't know.
This is a buying opportunity of a lifetime. You are not going to see very many opportunities like this. He says he's still as bullish as it comes here. So here we go, climbing higher, up about 3.75% on the session. Still only a fraction of what we've lost yesterday. Guys, yeah, Tom Lee's good. He's definitely a bull, there's no doubt about it. He's an optimist. Joe glasses look like one I found. Okay, okay, all right, Hunter Harvey, that's funny, but here he said, Joe's glasses look like the ones I found at my girl's.
I have no idea. There's like
so,
wow.
He's always putting out those comments too. I'm pretty sure he's the same guy. He's like, yeah, I would let you date my sister and stuff.
Is that the guy?
Yeah,
that's the guy.
Yeah, Hunter Harvey's always cracking jokes. Thank you for that crackling up, and now I'm blushing. So here we go. Yeah, guys, starting to climb higher. 123s now. Let's see how high we can go on NVDA, maybe 125. That pre-market high is the next potential target. We're running into some key resistance zones here, guys. Let's see if we get a little bit of a pullback, and then that momentum steps in. As you can see, that volume is starting to pick up on the lower time frames as we start to appreciate in price here, that this somewhat of recovery is starting to come into play here on NVDA, my guy.
Absolutely, Joseph. Well said, man. Ostentatious Productions. Will there be a Super Troopers 3? I don't know, man. Leave me alone, man. I'm trying to trade. Goodness gracious. All right, guys, I want to get back into STIM over here because it has reclaimed the volume weighted average price. I got pushed out of this one once it had a quick wick below that $3, but it was quick to reclaim the level. Let's get in over here. Let's, wow, it won't even have me up here. What's going on? What? 4 penny spread on a $3 name? Come on, bro. There we go. We got the fill. We're long at 11s. Let's hang out and scalp on the way up. I'll be defending into 3 this time now that I know how this bad boy is trading. STIM, the stimulus is fast and furious on this one. It's got a 330 HOD. Let's see if we can keep up the higher high, higher low situation now that it's reclaimed VWAP up on this one. Now, I have a dip trade set up. Wow, that's NVIDIA, bro. NVIDIA's going here. 4.25%, my man. What's going on over there? Yeah, your boy Joseph. Bro, you got a multiple dollar winner. Speak up.
Speak up.
Speak up,
or forever
dude.
hold your peace, man.
No, man. Like sometimes I don't notice you've got a multiple banger on. You got to speak up about that, bro. 1, 2, 3. There it is. There it is, baby.
That's it.
Hey, so I'm waiting up on this one, ASAN. I've got a dip trade set up at 21.25 because I perceive 21.25 to be that volume weighted average price. And now we're getting that rounded top on your boy ASAN. It's only up 8 and change, but it's above VWAP. It's got a bull flag looking pattern, and I want to use VWAP as a possible support level if it gives me the opportunity to do that. So that's a look right now. ASAN looking for that move. Oh, RNAS halted to the downside after breaking that 14 and change high day. It popped into 1540, Katina man, and now it's down to 1289 halt with the theoretical auction price showing about a 50-60 now penny lower open than the halt price. 89 is the halt price, tap showing 20s. So this one could be headed to the down side. Let's keep an eye out on that one. The one we're involved in right now is STIM. Took out some there at 16s. Now I'm waiting at 20s. Let's see if this one wants to continue to move on its merry way. Let's set up some orders here on the north side of 20 to account for any wicks that we do have into that level. The high of the day, I should mention, is 30 pennies. All of the moves today into the high of the day at around that high 20 area have all been topping tail candles. Well, what the hell does that mean? That means somebody is aggressively shorting at that level or aggressively taking profits, so much so that it's unable to ascend above that third of a dollar level on a closing basis because there is an aggressive. Again, could be someone taking profits, could be someone shorting, I don't know, but somebody's selling up there and it's giving this one all sorts of trouble. So here we go into the 20s. I'm waiting at 20s here, and again, somebody shorts or aggressively sells at that level, pushing this bad boy back down into the mid-teens. So keeping an eye on that one. Now, BHF, this one is I'm starting to question my thesis. Where the hell is it on BHF? Oh, here it is. Let's zoom out a little bit. So now I was waxing poetic about how I perceive this to be a consolidation range at VWAP. I don't know if that's the case anymore because every time we make a trough, it's a skosh lower than the previous trough's low. So what that means is now we're putting in lower lows and lower highs. And now we're coming into that $59 area where I have my stop. In fact, I'm looking at the level 1 right now. The level 1 showing me 11s, 59.11 that is. I've got my stop, as I mentioned, on the south side of 59. So this one looks as if it might be giving up VWAP, and it might not be that consolidative range that I perceived it to be. In fact, it just might be a skewed downward channel because hard to see because of this huge up move over here, kind of skews the downward channel. Adara's at the big desk.
This part of the show is brought to you by Prop Firm Match. Are you a skilled trader who's lacking capital? Prop Firm offer the opportunity to trade with simulated funds, which allows you to showcase your skills. Access account sizes ranging from 5K to 500K. You can start with as little as 20 bucks. But with over 500 prop firms out there, how do you find out which ones are the best? That's where Prop Firm Match steps in. Prop Firm Match is your go-to platform for finding and comparing only the most esteemed firms with proven track records and consistent long-term payment histories. Access over 4,500 verified reviews, explore payout histories, and discover the best current deals all in one place. So scan that QR code or visit propfirmmatch.com today and find the perfect prop firm for you. In the meantime, we're going to take a look here at the market. S&P 500, slightly lower high here for the SPY, but still up about 0.5%. The NASDAQ, though, actually making a higher high at highs of days, up more than 1%. This is a great little flat top break, so to speak, for this NASDAQ today. We have a nice little rebound in these tech stocks, which fell pretty harshly there on some concerns over DeepSeek, which is purportedly spending a lot less money for its AI than what we had to see other companies spend on their GPUs. So that was the reason for the drop. Now we seem to be pushing back a little bit as there are some analysts saying that that initial drop might be a little bit overblown. We also have here lots of small caps to keep an eye on, as always. RNAZ, RNAZ has been called. Shout out to Sharif there. This one has a very small float, under 1 million shares, so RNAZ certainly on watch, as well as names like CrowdStrike if you're looking for bigger tech. CRWD here actually making new all-time highs. This is the first time it's made all-time highs since that drop on July 19th with that mass outage. Basically, CrowdStrike saying that their ransomware tests were 100%. So great look here for CRWD, bit of a bull flag, nicely above $400. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Follow us on Trader TV Live and TTV Research on X if you're looking for a little bit of market content. But in the meantime, we do have Neil, and we have his lesson of the day. So without further ado, please take it away, Neil.
Thank you very much, Adara. Welcome to the lesson of the day. And this is going to be a pretty simple concept. If you like the stock, buy the stock. But not just any time. It's about the last couple of days. And maybe it's obvious with NVIDIA or the Qs, but I think there's some examples throughout the beginning of this year where if you just simply say to yourself, this is a company that I believe in and I like in a longer term time frame, well, then the obvious places to buy, keep it simple, stupid, and buy the stock. So first one, look, NVIDIA, was there blood in the water yesterday? Of course there was blood in the water yesterday. Sometimes it's just as simple as, well, it's unprecedented volume to the downside and abject panic, and you just buy it for that reason. But I don't think you have to get overly complicated with it and maybe not have any structure to what you're looking for. Here's an example. I'll give you two examples. Here's examples of stocks which maybe, while not as parabolically downside, yet like yesterday was a unique day for NVIDIA and for some of the chip names. I mean, Apple was all doom and gloom and everyone hating its guts after it made an all-time high. And it gave you multiple days on the 200-period moving average, just sort of chilling out, ho-hum, and if you like the stock, buy the stock. Then I bring you to Meta, with Mr. Zuckerberg swimming in his billions and billions of dollars, and Meta swimming right back in yesterday to the 50-period moving average, which, hey, if you didn't get the 50-period moving average on Meta yesterday in the pre-market, well, you could have had it last week and the week before that and the week before that and 2 weeks before that and 3 weeks before that and back and forth this entire time. These strong stocks, when they're only trending to the upside and we're in that kind of a bull market, Amazon, another example, 52-week high, all-time high breakouts today. Well, forget about this dip at the 50 period, which you probably, unless you were sitting there on the bid yesterday, but just like Meta, you could have had this again and again and again and again and again. And it's not just the Mag 7. We were talking about CrowdStrike had a good story in here today. Well, CrowdStrike, look at the accumulation at $340 on CrowdStrike. Sometimes you just say, well, if I like the stock and somebody else is clearly buying it, like I don't know who's buying CrowdStrike at $340, but it just keeps bouncing off $340. Now, if this is a stock you like, it's the caveat. Maybe you don't like that stock. Maybe you like a Palo Alto as opposed to CrowdStrike. And this one's not necessarily going to be split adjusted, so let me just bring down something that is very, very quickly. And what do you have here? Oh, lo and behold, this one bounces off the 200-period moving average as well. So I don't care sort of what it is, where it is. If you like it, then when everyone else is panicking or when everyone else is selling, find an easy and an obvious buy zone to get involved in. And I'll leave you with one last one, because this is one that it kind of like it kind of trips me out for how funny this is, because there's nothing significant particularly about when Palantir went to the NASDAQ, other than we know, the ability to get into the NASDAQ 100. But every now and then, something as simple as, well, its first day of trading on the NASDAQ, it held this low, right at like 64 bucks. I'm not saying you just sit there and buy it in front, but if you like the stock, there's it holding the level, there's it breaking out from that level. From the point that it broke it out, it just trended right on into 80, and we're right back into 80. That's an example of a very, very simplistic strategy. Oh, well, there's a significant prior level. Let's just wait till it holds it, buy the stock, and hold it to the top end of the range. Every single one of the examples I showed you is a company which has been in a long-term uptrend, which has continued that trend for pretty much all of last year, showed you pretty simplistic dip buys that brought you right back into the top. And that's what you do in a bull market. When everyone is scared, you're supposed to be greedy. Now, I'll sit here, and Sean and I, we actually said this morning, like, should have bought some more stuff. Well, that's why I'm saying this today, because I feel like I should have dip bought more stuff. And that's your lesson of the day. If you like it, just get on the bid.
I like how he ended it there with like the dramatic effect. Get it, Neil. Shout out to Neil, man. Informative, eloquent, and just all around awesome. Neil Roberts every day around noon hour dropping that Neilage, Joseph. Neilage. Shout out to Neil. Thank you very much, Neil. What do you got, Joseph?
Yeah, just looking at the chain here, guys. And I just want to say, first and foremost, guys, all the kind words. Yeah, you guys are killing it, man. I appreciate you guys. Ezekiel Lepra, $3 in the money. Here we go, everybody. Yeah, he was texting me or messaging me that. Ram and Greg V are twinning right now because they're both in some NVDA. So congrats to them. First big girl purchase there. All right, Ram. I see what you got going in the chat. I see you. So what do we do? So now I know how much money you're in the money. What are you gonna get us? Maybe some treats or something? Some more chocolates? Because well, you bought it yesterday. I just got it today, so I need something. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about that after, because I have a long list of things that, yeah, exactly. I have a long list of things that I could ask for, so I know how much money you got now. So here we are, guys. What do you got?
Okay, so it's true about DeepSeek.
What is it?
It's true. Here it is. What happened in 1989 at Tiananmen Square? Sorry, that's beyond my current scope. Let's talk about something else. In other words, we don't want you asking questions about things we don't like. No, because we were hearing this anecdotally online. I didn't get an opportunity to try it, obviously, because it was down yesterday. But here's the deal. If you want to use DeepSeek and you don't want this BS filter that they're putting it on it from China, go on to Perplexity. Apparently, Perplexity now using DeepSeek, but you're able to store your information in America, and there's no filter on it. Apparently, you're able to ask it whatever questions you want without having this, let's call it the CCP filter.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's wild.
So I'm going to give Perplexity a try right now to see if I can weasel in to DeepSeek vis-a-vis Perplexity and see if we can get the same response from it over here. But that's, yeah, I wanted to test it because anecdotally, we were hearing a lot about that online. So
good test.
Ask it about Winnie the Pooh. Okay. Is Winnie the Pooh banned in China? No way. I didn't actually know that. How come I can't hear you that well, Fabian? Gotcha. Okay, let's go ahead and do it. Here we go. We're going to do it live in real time. Tell me about, Winnie the Pooh. Okay, well, apparently it's, this one's okay. They don't want you asking about Tiananmen Square, but Winnie the Pooh, it's not a big deal. Right. Yeah, but this is really interesting, though. So apparently you're able to circumvent the Great Firewall. Well, it's not the Great Firewall. The Great Filter Wall over here with Perplexity. So I'm going to load up Perplexity to see what's going on there. I think Shabao, they were using Winnie the Pooh to mock one of the leaders or something, if I remember right, so they banned it. Understood. Thank you for letting me know. Context is everything. I do appreciate that. Adara, fun fact for those who do not know. Winnie the Pooh is named after Winnipeg. I like it, Adair. I did not know that either. I didn't know about... No, I believe you.
Statue of the bear that he was named after outside the Winnipeg Zoo, or like at the very front of the Winnipeg Zoo.
Very apropos. You know, the bear, the zoo, everything's fine.
Good
I appreciate that, Adair. Context is everything, baby. So yeah, we're gonna give We're gonna give Perplexity a try over here, but I want to let you guys know we're taking some stimmy out of stimulus over here. We took out some at 18s. I'm waiting at 20s, 23s, layering the orders. STIM, it was a quick breach of the volume weighted average price. Sadly, I got pushed out of that, but we got back in once it reclaimed VWAP and started putting in those higher highs and higher lows, waiting at the fifth of a dollar. Now let's see what we can get. If we can get something in and around that level, coming back down though into 18s. Thank you, Kalua. I do appreciate you for the compliment there. Pretty Panda, insider tips. Somebody building in UAVS. It will be quick. Let's have a look at UAVS, see what Pretty's talking about. Bro, that NVIDIA banger, you and the Katina, man. Yo, it's going to 125,
yeah,
bro.
125, man. You got to look for those big bounce recoveries on these strong names, man. That was the thesis going into it here. Hold on. Let me pull up something real quick. And like, here we go. Here we go. Hopefully there's no profanity in there. But anyways, game plan early in the morning here. Getting ready. NVDA #1 idea right there, guys. So that's what it is. I told you every day we just got to fill out, have those game plans, run the scanners in the morning, and just be prepared for the session and see what we can get going on. Stick to the plans, as the boys to the right of us often say. If you believe in something, stick to it, and then just continue to trade it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but when it does work, everybody gets to have a good time.
Here's UAVS, Joseph. Nice rounded bottom. Shout out to Pretty Panda defending that 2 1/3. The closing print was $2.26. We're only about 252, but yeah, your point well taken, Pretty. We're up 12% on the day. We just worked our way right above the volume weighted average price. We worked our way above the $0.50. We have a rounded bottom, which is a bullish chart pattern, preceded by a downtrend. So it's legit. Yeah, this one has earned its way, let me tell you, onto the side chart. We're gonna take off TCTM, which is a holdover from yesterday, and we're gonna throw on UAVS. Thank you, Pretty Panda, for pointing that out. Can't have eyes everywhere. Joseph, I'm going to throw it to you so that I can load up Perplexity and see what the situation is.
Yeah, and someone in the chat here just said Smoky Love. That's exactly why I'm not worried about DeepSeek, for sure. Again, we all know that it could just be a buy the rumor, sell the news type event, sell the rumor, buy whatever, the news, whatever it may be. But here we go. And someone else in the chat also mentioned the NVDA hammer that's being printed. I love this. This is such a massive gap fill to be played here, and best believe I'm going to look to participate on that front. I want to talk about Apple as well too, guys. So we're still on the inside, so look for any rejection around this candle where we opened up, or maybe even we can push to the pre-market highs as well, 128.14, if we decide that we want to continue to squeeze. But as of right now, it's looking really good, up 5% on the session. So let's talk about Apple. I was talking to Greg V and Sharif about this. I'm like, kind of dropped the ball on this one. I had multiple swings on it. Got out a little bit too early. I did get the gap fill, but look at this continuation in AAPL here, guys. We know that they report on Thursday, and we were down almost over 15% off of these highs. Now starting to recover. We held the support systems extremely well, so that's good for Apple. And I'm still bullish. It is the smallest position in my holdings right now, so in my long-term holdings, so that's okay. Nice recovery off the top. It would have been ideal to sell somewhere around the peak or during this distribution phase here before we ran into the support, and then look to reload on some more shares there. But that's not the case. That's okay. We'll still sit into this position, and we'll look for these gains to continue. I think that Thursday is going to be a banger for Apple. We know what's coming on Wednesday, and with that, you good to go?
Yeah, almost
there. Yeah. So with that, we're going to look at Perplexity, but guys, we're going to also get into some expected moves after as well too. I want to see what we're looking at for Tesla, Meta, and Microsoft. Let's pull up those tickers right now. Softy, as the boys like to call them, Obi and Sharif. Let's see what we got going on. Now, it's been trading in this range for quite some time here, guys. So can we classify this as accumulation phase? Maybe, until we punch through and we can break into all-time highs, which isn't too far away. I think that may be the case here on Microsoft, we filled this gap from before. Let's see what we got going on. Where is that daily gap fill that I was referring to? So here we go. So we're off some time off of that here. So from 116 all the way up to 416 to 432, and then now pulled back, held those levels really well, and then now continuing to appreciate and putting in those engulfing sessions. Tomorrow is going to be a big day. We got the earnings party that Neil, Sharif, and Adara are going to be a part of, so that's going to be really good stuff. They're going to be dropping you guys those numbers as soon as they come out. Let's see what Sharif's got going on with Perplexity.
Yeah, exactly what I thought, bro. Right. So if you go into Perplexity and you use the R1 feature, which is essentially the DeepSeek's version of O1 of ChatGPT, which is the reasoning model, which is the one that asks itself questions about how to answer the question, you get exactly what I thought. It answers the whole thing about Tiananmen Square. It tells you that whole thing there. So here's what I did. You go all the way over here. So you go into DeepSeek, right there, ask a follow-up. You switch from regular to pro. And then you have reasoning with R1, new DeepSeek model hosted in the US, or you can use OpenAI's model. Perplexity can allow you to connect with those or their own. So I just clicked reasoning here with R1, new DeepSeek model right there, and then you can ask it whatever questions. And then again, that Arvon guy, he is the CEO of Perplexity, was kind of going on social media and touting that for those who wanted to use DeepSeek but didn't want their information stored in China and everything else that comes with using DeepSeek. You can use it via proxy using Perplexity. So not like there's any shortage of LLMs out there. Personally, there's quite a few now that are quite good. Google's Gemini has been upgraded markedly. I've been telling you guys about this for a while. I was telling Brendo about this as well. This is what I really like about the new Google one. So it's aistudio.google.com. Right there, aistudio.google.com, and then look at this. You have all the different language models, Gemini 1.5, 1.5 Pro, 1.5 Flash 8B, et cetera, et cetera. All the different models there for you to use, and then you can kind of structure it the way you want. What's going on over there?
Bro,
NVIDIA's flying,
it's flying, dude. Just absolutely squeezing to the top side.
Yeah, this is a
continue.
Oh, man, no, this is more important. Cover it. Bro.
Yeah, look at the volume pickup here, guys. This could be possibly shorts just covering all the way up into here. So this volume really picks up as we start to break out on these lower time frames and on the higher time frames as well too. So nice, steady, consistent volume squeezing to the top side. Now up over 6% on the session. Continue to squeeze, continue to squeeze. This is something that we want to look forward to, and this is what we want to look to. We know the market overreacts. Yesterday could have been a complete overreaction on nothing. Yeah, we know DeepSeek is half decent, but is it as good as they claim to be? We still don't know. Time will tell, but as of right now, NVIDIA really starting to recover on the day, putting in this monster session. I hope a lot of people are participating in this because this is the type of play that you need to look for when a great company essentially sells off for no big reason. They still need to sell the chips to people, whether it be the H800 or the 100. They still got to sell the chips to do the AI model. So here we are, really recovering on the day, still squeezing. That volume is really starting to pick up here. That could be also a possible topping signal. NVIDIA, monstrous.
Wow, man, 6.5%. 321 million shares traded. Even AVGO positive too. Definitely not in the way that NVIDIA is positive of 1%. AVGO trying to take out 204. It's got a bit of a bull flag going on right now on Broadcom. I said to myself I wouldn't be trading these large caps today, so I'm going to stick. I'm going to stick to my plan, and I'm going to stay on the small caps. RNAS going again over here. Here comes 14 again. Nice breakout there on RNAS. Let's see if we can weasel into some sharage over here. I'm waiting for a dip onto 14. It may not give it to me. There we go. Now we'll get some out up here. Here we go. Move it. Let's put it up in the mid 30s. See if we can squeeze out some there, and then in the low 40s as well. Good move. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. Here we go with the 40s. Nope. Boom. There it is, Joseph. Dang. Let's take it out again over here. Nice move right now on RNAZ. Good strength on this name today. Good continuity. It's been quite bamboozling at times. 3 outs. I've got 2 more on this one. Let's see if it can squeeze above the $0.50. The $0.50 acting now is a little bit of a resistance area. There we go. We get filled again. Now let's wait in the lofty area of 69. You guys know how I trade. I don't need to tell you guys. Anything below 14, I'm gone though. I'm not going to really try to do the dance with no pants on this one. It's going to have to continue in a straight line. Otherwise, I'm not going to try to catch dip trades and then give back the entire move. Seller at 40 right now on RNAS as it comes right back into my entry. I'm long 08s. We're going to risk 8 pennies. So anything below 14, we're gone Zeno. Bit of a spread on this one right now. About 10, 15 pennies at times, sometimes a little bit tighter. It really depends on when we're looking at it. Here comes 14 again. Wow. We've got 1 more out on this left, and there it is. We're going to take it out there for a little bit of a loss on the last little bit there. So RNAZ, definitely in focus, definitely strong. Try to pick it up, maybe off that 10 exponential. That 10 exponential is actually at $13, despite the fact we're trading at 14 and change right now. Good strength there. Let's keep tabs on this one. BHF, man. I keep holding this one, thinking, all right, you know, we're going to break up above that $60 area again, but I'm not adding at these levels. And this one actually defended 59s, eh? It got down right into 59. That was actually the print on it, on BHF, right at 59s, and I didn't add there. That was a mistake. I should have been adding there, given my stop was like 2 pennies below 59. I don't think I was at my desk when that happened, though. So BHF still in focus, man. 17%, hugging VWAP, but having trouble with $60. Let's see what everybody else is up to in the chat. Rippin' iron? Rip in, I don't know, whatever, bro. Nike flushing. Let's have a look at NKE. Let's see what this one's up to.
Whatever, bro.
All right, let's flip to Nike. Oh, wow. Nike in free fall right now, about to, dropping actually below $75. 74 1/5. LOD on Nike down 1.7. No headline that I'm seeing on Nike right now for this directional sell-off. There was a nice flat bottom break there at 75. You could see it in the beginning part of the day. The 75 dips were being bought up, given all these top bottoming tail candles, which show that buyers were stepping in at that level. We go back up into the closing print at 75.60, and that is as good as we could do on the day, at least so far. On NKE, it broke below $75 quick as you like. There was really no bid holding it up there on Nike. So keep your eye on this one. Good call out. Didn't have an eye out on Nike, but yeah, nice sell off there, Joseph.
Yeah, good luck there, Shreve. I'm just pulling up these expected moves here for Microsoft, and it's looked like the options market is only pricing in about a 4% expected move. Chat, fact check me on that. Shreve, I know you can as well.
What am I looking at?
With the expected move on Microsoft.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's take a look at that because we're rolling into earnings season. I think that's really important to take a look at, especially for those straddle traders. You need to know that expected move, and for the options people as well too. IB is at about 56% here. So yeah, I have 4% on what I'm displaying here. What do you got?
All right, so it's after the market, right?
Yeah.
That's tomorrow?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so let's flip to the 29th. Microsoft, expected move, 4.3. Previous,
okay, so, yeah.
minus 6.1.
Okay, so there we go. So relatively close there on that one. So 4% on Microsoft, guys. So not the craziest move, but again, it is a $444 stock right now. Let's take a look at Tesla and see what the options market is pricing in on that as well. Why do you keep pulling that up? And here we go. So yes, not the same thing. So about an 8.4% expected move on Tesla as well too there, guys. So good luck on that one. We're going to need quite a bit of a move here on Tesla. So officially, that might be good for our out the money if we exceed that, if we construct that trade. And we're going to do one more here on Meta before we bring it to Adara. So then about 6.8% on Meta as well too. So the expected move on that, but the IV is so high. So the options market is pricing that 97%. You're paying for that volatility in Meta. It is a $678 stock. That can explain a little bit about that, but let's see what Adara's up to.
Actually, I have a new Josh Brown story, but this is not the Josh Brown pump this time. No, Josh Brown of Ritholtz Management and also of the podcast The Compound actually saying that he, quote, trimmed his 3M position. So selling some MMM led to some selling in MMM. I did look at the chart to make sure here there was a bit of volume excess volume on this push to the downside on the 3-minute chart. So MMM getting a Josh Brown trim here, guys, and a slight push to the downside. Keep an eye and be careful if you're involved in this ticker. Also, Stephanie Link just saying on CNBC that she has sold ExxonMobil. So keep an eye here on XOM, which is also pushing lower. So XOM and MMM both getting some sells here from Stephanie Link and Josh Brown, respectively, guys.
Yeah, the Josh Brown pump, man. There you go.
Josh Brown pump.
Dump in this case. Yeah, so Triple M, keep your eye out on that, Joseph. But you were saying something.
Yeah, we're just talking about expected moves. Los Pollos Hermanos. I'm pretty sure that means the chicken man. So here we go. Am I right on with that, Andre? Andre, Los Pollos Hermanos. Los Pollos Hermanos is the chicken man, right? Spanish. Yeah. Yeah. See, there you go. Yeah, the guy knows a little. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It knows. I know a little Spanish here and there.
He speaks Portuguese, bro.
Oh yeah, it's Portuguese, but it's close. It's close. It's close. It's close. Yeah, it's close. It's relatively close. Fabian, I was right there. Fabian. All right, brother. I appreciate you. Okay, so SUBX here. Someone asked me to look at the expected move on. Pardon me? Ask Ramin? Oh, okay. Yeah, next time I will. Maybe she knows a little Spanish. As DeepSeek. Yeah, ask DeepSeek. Yeah, that's hilarious. So SUBX. Stop embarrassing me. SUBX.
So embarrassing.
Why isn't it pulling it up? Okay. Anyways, I'm sorry, I can't pull up Starbucks expected move for you, but maybe when I'm not talking about other things, then I'll look it up. But yeah, I know officially is well, the Chicken Brothers. That's it. Yeah, the Chicken Brothers. Sorry, not the Chicken Man. Sorry. So the Chicken Brothers here. Well, I said the Chicken Man. Yeah. Right, but it's the Chicken Brothers. Okay, yeah. So it's the brothers. All right. Yeah. So shows you how much I know in Spanish. So there we go. But yeah, guys, the NVIDIA is starting to pull back a little bit. SBUX. Yeah. Sorry.
The Katina Man short NVIDIA at these levels, guys. And I've been just past the sticky note, and I've been told to read it. 126 to 128 in bold capital letters. Area short. Get it, Katina Man. Good luck, brother.
He's short. Yeah, he's shorting it there at the top of the range. But that Starbucks expected move is sitting around 5.9%.
There we go, guys. All right, shout out to Pretty Panda. He's like, look, RNAS is the one to look at. I still agree with you. I'm not involved in it right now. We were just at that 1450 level, got stopped out for the remaining amount. It did defend 1350, and here we go again. We still have a 1540 HOD, so we're still below that $0.50 right now. Get it, Katina Man. But we're looking right now at higher highs and higher lows, and somewhat, I don't want to say respect for the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. It's wicking below there at times, but for the most part, it is respecting it and looking like it will be taking out that 1540 HOD, so that we're going to get involved here again. Come what may, let's go ahead. We're at 43s. Let's start scalping maybe in the mid-60s, and we'll be looking for this one to possibly take out the high of the day. 1450, a bit of a seller right now. You can see the selling coming in at around the $0.50. The previous candle's high does take us all the way up into about $0.75. So let's see if we can continue moving with that pattern. I'm going to have to give this to 1350 because that is where the current candle's low is. And that's also where the 10 exponential moving average is. So it probably behooves me to add into this position if it's going to dip into that level. So let me throw out some orders over here at those levels to account for any dips down possibly into that level. So let's go ahead and stack those orders right now. I'm going to put them at, the third of a dollar, or sorry, the $0.75 of a dollar, a quarter of a dollar, in and around that area to see if we can catch a bit more shareage on the spike down. But I do like the pattern that RNAZ is putting. We're long at 43s. It's showing me 38s right now. I'm waiting in the mid-60s and then mid-80s. Here comes the $0.50 again. 60 now showing up. Seller at 60. Can we take him out? It's obviously a hidden seller. Boom! To the high side, we take out that seller. Let's see if we can take out the guy at 70. So, there's a seller right now at every 10-cent area. We're rejecting 60s now. We're rejecting 70s. So whoever's trying to short or take profit is doing it, I perceive, at every 10-penny level. So there it is. Again, to the high side. Good move right now, but true to form, it takes out that high, and then it basically plummets a little bit as people look to take profits. Now I'm waiting at 15s. Let's see what the situation is. I didn't get anything filled, sadly, to the downside at around that 1405, 1375 that we were talking about. So I'm waiting for a 15 break and take. Seller in the mid 80s now, holding us back from ascending up 115%. We're still putting in those higher highs. Here comes 15. Here comes 15. I'm going to stake it out there. Bang. All right, nice trade. We'll look to leave those orders at 14 again. Boom. Oh my God, look at it take out 15s. Paper has, I'll just do this, Joseph. I'll just do this for now. There we go. Yeah, but you know what? We've had so many entries and exits on it, so it's okay.
Yeah, bro.
Trying to catch the cash?
No, but
Yeah,
I try to catch the cash. But I mean, dude, you got a stellar trade on
I appreciate you.
Yeah, so that's
I appreciate
a good trade,
you.
man. You cut the whole trend, essentially. That's sick.
I appreciate you, Joseph. Dara's at the big desk.
I don't have news on this, but I want to let you guys know LYFT dropping pretty hard. There is a lot of volume to this drop as well. Slightly lower highs here, just almost a double top, and then this push to the downside. We drop about $1 here in this one push. Again, I'm not seeing any news. I'm seeing very minimal social media attention as well. But with LYFT, it is worth noting there's actually a significant short flow at about 13+%. So LYFT, if I see any news here, I will keep you all apprised. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. This thing is going to take out $16, guys. Now we're up 130%. We were talking about 100% like 10 seconds ago. There goes 16. It is now 16.19, Joseph.
Oh,
HOD. This thing is going. It's on one. There is a possible area of support, possible support to the downside here at around 15.50. So that's the topping tail candle that we put at 11.55 before we ended up halting down. We topping tailed into 15.50 and then we ended up halting at, believe it or not, $13. So there could be that support level at 15.50. Maybe we can pick some up off there and get back in because this one's on one right now. So let's see exactly what the situation is with RNAS. 15.50 getting defended right now, at least locally over here. Pops right back up off 15.50, right into 16 again. So should have been putting my money where my mouth was there instead of talking about it. But this one, very strong, very directional, getting a little extended now away from the 10 exponential moving average. And so I've used this kind of informal gauge of overbought and oversold. Right now with RNAZ, when it gets a little too extended away from the 10 exponential moving average on the 5, I get a little weary because usually it is due for a pullback. So 1630 HOD, the 10 exponential is at 14 1/3. So we're $2 now above the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. Let's see if this one continues to go or whether it drops back down for a pullback. STIM got several fills on it on this one. Now it's breaking down into $3. So this has done that before though. Okay, so here's the deal. So this one dropped below VWAP, got me out. I got back in once it reclaimed VWAP, scalped up into the $1/5 of a dollar. But now we have a lower high. So this is obvious area crest here at 3 1/5. Previously, it had been 3 almost in 1/3, above 3 1/4 certainly, almost into that 3 30 area. So now we have lower high, lower high, lower high. I don't like this trade anymore. Anything below $3, I'm done. And I did that before and I paid the price for it, but we didn't have that lower high pattern when I did that initially. So this was, in my humble estimation, I should have been giving this a bit more room. But this was predicated on a pattern of higher lows and higher highs. That pattern is done. We got a lower low over here, and now we got a lower high. Yeah, so a stimmy, might be running out of stimulants over here. So we're going to put in a 297. We're going to give this one a little bit of room. 297 out. I'll give it like 3 pennies below that $3 area. I know I'm probably going to regret this, but whatever. I don't want to be in the trade when the pattern is telling me the trade that you're looking for ain't there, buddy. So keeping an eye out on that one. Maurice asking, is there Uber news? Uber's flat on the day. Oh, what the hell just happened there? Is it? Yeah, so Adara said it dropped off a cliff, but she can't find anything right now. Cantor Fitzgerald already chimed in on this one earlier, boosting the price target from, actually dropping, hiking, the price target from 75 to 80. I don't know what rating they maintained on that. We'll have to keep an eye out on that. I'm not seeing anything. The last news entry was that Cantor Fitzgerald thing, but that was way earlier, way earlier. So I have no idea what's going on with Uber right now. It could be, just a $70 rejection. Did it do this yesterday? Like when it got close to that 69.50 there yesterday, we ended up getting a bit of a sell-off. So we got into about 69.50 and we dropped down to about 68.25. We ended up closing out at 68.79. So again, not seeing anything right now, though Adara's at the big desk.
So there's one thing I am seeing on LYFT. This is the only news-related story I am seeing, and I'm seeing it circulated on X. I Googled it as well. About 10 hours ago, apparently a woman in Detroit sued Lyft over apparently some discrimination in a ride, but this is just getting recirculated now pretty heavily, like within the last 5-10 minutes. I'm seeing a lot of articles about it. So again, this was first reported about 10 hours ago. So LYFT facing a customer suit. I'm not sure if this is why this is moving, but this is the thing, really the only story I'm seeing right now that is pretty significant, guys. I'm not seeing the amount of the suit either.
Shout out to my man Benton C, a fellow Arsenal supporter, letting me know the IPO that we were talking about today, SFD, Smithfield Foods Incorporated. It is live. What was the opening print there? It looks like the opening print was 21.05, give or take. The high of the day, 21.20. Let me throw this up on the side chart over here, SFD. So now we're down about 3%. We're zigging, we're zagging. We're at that $20 and a third. There's not too much volume in this bad boy yet. We're about 2.5 million shares, so maybe I stand corrected there. We just opened up at 12.34. This is the 1 minute chart. On SFD, we opened up at 12.34. It is now 12.40, so we're 6 minutes deep. And here we go, popping back in close to that $0.50. I don't have a trade on this. I don't really trade these IPOs, Joseph. I don't know what your feelings are. I know that the big boys there, they do well on them. They know exactly how to trade them. Not really my modus operandi, but SFD live.
Yeah, same thing there. I don't know, not enough data or information for me to go off of in order to trade them. I mean, I'm sure they're fun, and if you spend enough time and build yourself somewhat of a playbook on it, then you can do that, but I just have not. And when I started trading, like M&A and IPOs were kind of on the dwindle, Sharif, so we never really got that with IPOs, so I never really got that experience. I watched a couple, like Reddit was pretty cool last summer. Other than that, haven't really, and there's some other that I'm obviously not remembering, but not as much as there used to be apparently. So, but Stevenson Tenny, shout out to Trader TV, Sharif, Joe, Sean, Obi, and Neil there. Shout out to the whole team and the chat. Y'all make me a better trader. Let's keep pushing each other. Thank you, Stevenson. Much appreciated. And then, can we, Danny Nahas? Yeah, we're gonna take a look at Netflix, and anytime, my friend, no need to thank me, because I like to see what you guys are looking at as well too. And I think you guys know in the chat where I stand here on Netflix, right? Like I'm bullish on this thing. This thing has 300 million subscribers worldwide, increasing the premium, the subscription. That's pure margins. WWE rolling onto the platform. You're getting live sports. They're probably going to have some more big boxing events, because how could you not have another event like the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight when it was such a massive success, even though the fight sucked? Here we are with Netflix. Yeah, is that not true? Like the fight.
Oh, I'm just excited about this. Sorry, nothing you're saying is wrong, bro. You know exactly how I feel about Netflix.
Oh, you got something going on good there?
Yeah, dude. It's just a whole stop, Joseph.
The whole stop, baby. Let's go.
No, but continue what you're saying.
Yeah.
What you're saying was important.
Yeah. So with Netflix, guys, we're bullish on this thing. The subs are up. A record quarter or a record year for subscriptions. I forget what it was. Doubled the analyst estimates here. So it's only a matter of time until this thing just breaks through this $1,000 price target and then continues to move to the top side. I don't know how you can be bearish on this thing when you have the ability to touch so many households. Like, I don't know, other than mine right now, I don't know who doesn't have Netflix on their smart TV or on some form of app there. So here you are, when you have the ability to reach such a vast consumer, you got to get involved in companies like this, whether it be Meta, Google, Netflix, or whatever it may be. This is a company that you definitely want to look to participate in, especially at the growth rate that they have displayed over the last little while. So, and bringing the live sports, you're hitting a whole nother base as well, consumer base as well too. You're bringing those live sports, those big sporting events to Netflix. It's changing the dynamic of the platform. Not only are you going to get some of the best TV shows on there, now you're getting some of the best live events. what else do you want from a platform? Is this thing like, it's absolutely dominating the streaming world. So it's a #1 pick for me if you're looking to get involved in something that is involved in streaming, like Disney and whatever else may be. But Netflix is the go-to.
Big Spile Burdette. 7-year auction at 1 p.m. Buyers were thirsty on first VWAP pretest at 601 area. I'm assuming he's talking about, you know, his favorite thing, the Spile. The SPY, SPY, guys. Let's see if sellers try and take it back there again. Shout out to the Spiled One, Big Style Burdette. My man Hurt Scrambler as well, chiming in about Juniper, J, NPR. I got to tell you a little story about this. This is the first stock I ever bought in 12th grade, or grade 12 as we call it in Canada, and I had nothing, I didn't know anything about the stock, bro. Just a buddy of mine was like, this thing keeps going up. And it was like during the internet, the .com boom, when like Nortel Networks, Juniper, all like Cisco, everything like that was moving up, and I made a couple of bucks on this one with small share size. It was the first time ever, but JNPR brings back a whole bunch of nostalgia. Let's have a look at the report over here saying that it's trading lower amid circulation of reports suggesting that Department of Justice lawsuit may obstruct the proposed acquisition by Hewlett-Packard Enterprises. We'll definitely keep an eye out on that. Lots of changes we know taking place in the Department of Justice. It's not going to be your boy Merrick Garland anymore. It's going to be your girl, Pam Dang Bondi, and she may have a different view about what should and shouldn't go through Adara's at the big desk.
We do have some news here on X. We have Bloomberg reporting that the third largest investor in the company, or U.S. Steel here, not X Twitter, X is in U.S. Steel, the ticker. Apparently its third largest investor said that it opposes some moves, I guess, with the stock by an activist investor named Ancora. Pretty small, but the real reason I wanted to talk to you guys here is because I'm seeing some people are saying this has to do with the move in Uber and Lyft. The story I'm about to tell you, I am unsure, but regardless, Sean Duffy apparently has been confirmed as the new head of transportation department for the Donald Trump administration. So the new DOT head is Sean Duffy. Now, why is this relevant? Because earlier here, we did have Sean Duffy making some comments about EVs, saying that you should have to pay to be using the road. He specifically has made some comments about Tesla. And also he's commented on Boeing, saying that it needs some tough love to get consumer confidence back in their side. So keep an eye on BA, RIVN, TSLA, basically Boeing and any EV-related names, as Sean Duffy is confirmed as the head of the DOT because he's made comments on all of these companies before, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. Shout out to Sean Duffy, the Duffsters. I do like that name.
The Duff, man.
I do. The Duffy. All right, Joseph, I'm just going to have to throw out a couple of stop losses here.
Sounds good to me, my guy. Let's take a look. I know we're getting into the thick of the earnings season here, guys. So let's pull up and see what we got going on for later in the week and next week as well, too, because I love earnings season. So Thursday, we know after the bell, we have Apple and Intel, Visa. So those are big names on Thursday. We know what's coming Wednesday with the likes of Microsoft, Meta, and Tesla. But then let's see what we got going on for the following week here. Okay, maybe we won't do that just yet. We'll do in a second. We'll go through some of the earnings reports. But I'm looking forward to what we got going on. We went over the expected moves already on some of these big names, and those are the names that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Some of them are a little bit expensive, right? We know that Meta has a levered ETF. I forget, LBM Photo showed me the levered ETF for Meta. Not that liquid, but we know that as Tesla starts to appreciate, the capital requirements start to increase. So that's why I like to use the vehicle TSLL. TSLL gives you that 2x leverage as well too, guys, but also allows you to just kind of grab more shares. You do need to be wary of the volatility. It is not a investment vehicle, or you can swing it, but it is more of an intraday vehicle, something that you use from minute to minute, hour to hour, less to say. But that's what I'm going to be looking to play or to use and participate on Tesla, especially if it decides to want to go the next way. Let's take a look at it from a daily perspective, because I haven't really been talking about it too much, nor have I been trading it really. So because NVDA and IBIT have been in play, and you guys know where I stand on IBIT right now, our relationship is slightly toxic. So there we go. But here we are. Let's see what we got going on with Tesla. The one thing we need to keep an eye out for, guys, is these key levels of support. If we breach those officially and we bought those out the money calls, we're going to be sitting in trouble because we're going to have to cut the position the following day because it won't trade all the way up to 500. Is it going to trade up to 500 on the announcement? No, it's pricing in like a 6.8% expected move. In order for it to go to $500, that's quite a big move there, and I don't expect that. But we can collect some of that extrinsic value from that contract. That's the whole point of buying the out the monies with that increase of volatility. So here we go. If we break 378, then Kyle Burdett might be right. We might hit 300 before we hit 500, and that's what our outstanding bet is. I don't really love the price action right now because we are running into some key support levels, so we need to be weary of that. Can it totally reverse and Tesla comes out with some absolute monstrous numbers? I would love that. That'd be fantastic. One of my largest holdings in the account. Sure enough, we would still like to participate in it in other ways. But again, I'm liking Tesla until the report. I think it's going to be really, really big pivotal moment for this stock. We broke out with the election when Donald Trump won, and then we essentially haven't really looked back. We have pulled back off of those all-time highs, which is totally fine. We went on a monster run for over a month, and that's what I like to see. The pullback hasn't been as deep, but we are still down about 21% off of those all-time highs. Let's see if Tesla can start to recover and then maybe put in a solid report and then break some key resistance zones, True.
Okay, sounds good, Joseph. Guys, RNAS halted to the downside, up still 108%. Here's what's funny about it. It's halted. I was telling Joseph while Adara was talking. It's halted at the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. So despite the fact that it topping tailed 16 3/4 now high of the day, 1673 technically, it did drop aggressively into that 14 1/4. Technically, the halt level is 1427. The theoretical auction price you can see here on my level 2 is 1425. So a mere 2 pennies below the area where we halted. Now, this is here we go. Now it's open. Let's see if this one wants to hold up above, or if it's going to flash back down. I was telling Joseph that maybe that the fact that it halted right around that 10 exponential is a bullish signal. So we should pick it up off here. Let's see exactly what the situation is because it's still holding trend. Right? Here we go. We're not even giving up 14. In fact, we're closing in right now at that 14.5. Let's see if the continuity is there or it's just we weasel up there. No, it looks like we're giving up 14 here now below the 10 exponential, coming down into the 20. VWAP, I should tell you guys on RNAS in case we need to know if it comes down there, about $12.50, give or take, but it's still actually fighting with 14, right back above 14 1/4 it goes. So it's not really giving up the ghost here. In fact, it looks like a bottoming tail hammer candle right now on the 5. This looks bullish. Decisions. I just got stopped out for the remaining amount of stim, so that is the end of the trade. I should have been getting out of that at $3. I just held on to it because of stubbornness, but that was the wrong thing to do here. I'm keeping my eye now on RNAS because this is obviously giving you many more opportunities to the top side and downside, to be quite frank. So here's that 14.5. Again, defending the 10 exponential right now, but definitely well off the highs, about $2 off those highs. 14.50 is where it's trading currently at the moment. Yeah, I don't really have much else to look at. I think Big Spile tagged me on some messages there. Let's go back and have a look. He mentioned 7-year auction. I got that. He goes, did you get my message this morning? I did see it, sir. I'm going to read it out, actually, because it was good. Because he was talking about technical levels. Usually he's talking about other inappropriate things, but everything is fine there. Love this guy. He goes, NVIDIA Weekly. I'm gonna read this whole thing out, Big Spile. Dang it, RNAS is flying to the high side. There it goes at 15 again, man. This is strong as hell. So Big Spile, NVIDIA Weekly. I drew this triangle some time ago. Great tools for helping me find trend changes, in my opinion. He's talking about those triangles. It showed me that while we could go up, the likelihood could be increasing that we break the trend at some point. That could have meant out of the top past 160 or so, lost the lower trend line from blast off and then about 850 low, August 5th low, which was, we know, Black Monday, right? The yen carry trade unwind. And he goes, notice too, the channel that extends from 1 week in August, that was the obvious doji of sorts. Yeah, I do agree with that. If you look at the daily on the NVIDIA, you will see that August 5th. We are stuck right now in the middle of that zone. And Big Smile, we touched that 200 exponential moving average yesterday. It was a bottoming tail candle. I made that point very clear on the show that we hadn't actually touched the 200 exponential on NVIDIA in, like, I think years. In fact, let's just pause for a second and load up the daily on NVIDIA so we can kind of look at what we're talking about over here. Oops, there we go. Let's load up NVDA, throw the daily on there. And that's what it was. Look at that bottoming tail we defended. Look at the closing print. Happens to be right above that 200 exponential. So we do wick below it this morning as well. Both areas got defended. He goes on to say, I'm not trying to be a contrarian and not trying to be anti-success of others, but I really think this info shows us things could be turning a bit for NVIDIA. Maybe DeepSeek is just the catalyst that allows big money, an extra chance to reposition besides earnings. Check that falling volume on rising price trend as well. Good point there, Big Smile. I think Joseph would definitely appreciate that. He's always looking at volume. I like the dip into this 120 area. Now, I like it. I didn't put anything into it, though. Full disclosure. I didn't add to my NVIDIA position yesterday. I'm long NVIDIA pre-split. I haven't added nor removed anything from NVIDIA since that time, nor do I plan to. It's just, I don't know. I really don't know why I haven't been adding into this, but I'm just happy with what I've got, and I'm really focusing on other things. You know, I'm trying to build a position into ASML, which could also, in and of itself, be a bit of a tougher trade right now with this whole thing with Taiwan Semi. Obviously, Taiwan Semi, the biggest customer of ASML, and well, then the whole chip thing is up for debate right now. So we'll have to wait and see what this DeepSeek thing does going into the future. All right, RNAS continuing to trade above 15 bucks, defending that the 20 exponential. The deeper retracement went right into that 20. I mean, what could we do here? We could add into 15 over here for another attempt. I don't know how many attempts this is going to have at the high of the day, but it's up 120%, so maybe we'll give this another try. By the way, guys, as I think about that, let me tell you that I added to my position on BHF at 59 because it keeps defending 59. So I added right at that low, but if it breaks down below 59, my stop is already in place. So I'm looking at de-risking some here at the $0.50, or sorry, that $0.75 $59.75 in order to de-risk a little bit with BHF. It's a trade that I'm not really liking anymore. It's a downward channel. It's giving a VWAP, and it doesn't look like the trade setup that I originally got into it for. So that's my look there. He was talking about that zone was June 1st. He mistyped week of June 6th, I believe. That week of June 6th, Big Smile was talking about NVIDIA. That week of June 6th horizontal channel is interesting. Let's load that up again. Where's my NVIDIA chart? Here it is. That week of June 6th, let's load. That's June 6th over here, right there. That week of June 6th horizontal channel is interesting. We ended up right back in that only uncertainty candle on the weekly chart. Are you talking about this one over here, or June 6th? June 6th. Let's go all the way back. June 6th. Which is that? Where is the 6th? So that you're looking at the weekly, I'm assuming. So let's have a look at the weekly there, see what the weekly of June 6th looked like. So that's August. Where are you looking, Big Smile? 6th. That's the 10th. I'm not really sure what you're looking at, brother. Let me know. Deep Psych says, will trade for food. I don't know what that means.
Deep
but
Psych.
Yeah, I know, but like we were talking about it.
Say like Deep Psych.
I know, but like I didn't think we weren't talking about it. So I don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, it would have been funny if we were talking about it. All right, guys, so just holding my position in BHF at the moment at the $0.50, nothing really doing. It's showing me the $0.25, so already 25 pennies out of the money. Looking to take this out in the $0.75 area because it's having all sorts of trouble with 60. So I'd like to get the hell out of there if it allows me to. It's defending 59 for a while, but it's putting in lower highs and lower lows. Let's look at the Mag 7, man. I haven't said anything about them today. Let's bring them in. I did like this whole charting setup over here on eSignal. Let's have a look. All right, Microsoft at the high of the day, looking the best right now. MSFT up 2.5%, trading at that 445. Good look for Softy. We also have, who else? We have Tesla at a very interesting area. Look at this double top double bottom on Tesla into the 388 area, but there's this area. How many times am I going to get the call from this? There is this area right here. I want to say at around 395 that we rejected at around 1030 to 1045, and now we're kind of bull flagging in that area. Nice move back up, and now we're kind of consolidating at that 395 area. Last time we were around 395 on Tesla, we dropped. We didn't hang out there for that long. In fact, there's a lot of topping tail candles there showing you that sellers were quite aggressive at that 395. Not so is the case here because we're very consolidative. So Tesla could be looking for a possible breakout into, I don't know, let's see here, 398 was the pre-market high. 400 could be in focus. Obviously, Joseph had that killer trade on NVIDIA with the Katina man, and here it is. NVIDIA kind of doing a bull flag as well, Joseph. It had that breakout above 122 that you were involved in, and now we have that big pull, move up, and then a sideways consolidation trying to hold up above 125. It's a good look for NVIDIA. There might be more here. Maybe a squeeze into 130. Who knows? Been a very strong day right now on NVIDIA. What is going on over here, bro? Who's calling me? Maybe I should take this call. And Big Spile's calling me on Instagram audio. Big Spile, I can't pick up the phone, bro.
That's crazy.
I can't pick up the phone, bro.
This guy.
Big
really,
Spile.
Really crazy.
This guy.
Is that what that
Love him,
beeping
bro.
sound was?
The vibration.
Oh, I thought
No,
it
the
was
beeping
earlier.
sound, those are alerts probably going off on Obi's trading view or somebody's trading view. Those sound like trading view alerts, if I've ever heard one
Big
before.
Spile's calling you.
June 24th, I am sorry. No problem, brother. Yeah, I was wondering June 6th what the hell you're talking about because there was no bottoming tails there on June 4th. Joseph.
Yes, sir.
What's a look?
We got some good comments here. I know it's 1 o'clock, guys. We're gonna get into the Playmaker in 1 second here. But so really interesting comment. RFID trader. If Tesla is a daily, TSLA is a daily recommended vehicle, how come there are options where you can sell leaps, covered calls, won't let you sell a stock unless one is super rich? I don't know what you mean by that last part, but again, the options market isn't going to give you financial advice like, hey, don't buy me or sell me or whatever it is, right? Like, they're not going to tell you not to do it. It's a levered derivative, right? So when you trading TSLA, whether it be 2x, I keep forgetting if it's 2 or 3x. Let me pull it up here for you guys real quick.
TSLA?
Yeah.
I'll look.
Yeah.
I got it
so,
right here.
So anyways, what I'm getting at here is, so yeah, it's a 2x bull here.
Yep.
So that's what it is. So this is what it is. But the reason why you don't want to buy leaps on this is because of the decay in the underlying asset. And it needs to be rebalanced on a daily basis. So let's take a look at Tesla from a daily perspective and see what we were off on the lows. So 42% compared to half of that of what it was, right? So keep that in mind, the decay and the rebalance. These are not investment vehicles. They're strictly used for day trading purposes. The implied volatility and the decay in these underlyings don't allow you to buy leaps because it won't appreciate as much as Tesla itself will. So that's the reason why you don't want to buy leaps on this thing. You just want to use it as a day trading vehicle. Even though it does look good, but the decay on them is still there and you need to be wary. If you decide that you want to trade TSLA, TQQs, etc., from an option standpoint, just keep in mind you are now trading a derivative of a derivative. That is very complex. I don't even know how things would work. They're not fighting.
It's actually, well, they're trying to make it seem like they are. So whether it happens or not, Jake Paul, Logan Paul apparently will fight each other, and it could be BS.
Obviously, what are you gonna do? Try to
well, we know that the
dominate your
Klitschko brothers wouldn't fight each other for years and years. They refused, despite the fact that people will throw money at them. We're talking about Vitaly and Vladimir Klitschko.
Yeah, I don't like Logan. I don't mind Jake.
Dude,
though.
they're kind of the same size.
They are, but look how geared up Logan is, though.
Logan?
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. This is gonna be
the WWE. He's been saucy.
this guy. Libel, bro.
Oh,
no, I'm kidding. Of course, nobody's gonna know. But this is interesting right now. Apparently, March 27th on HBO Max, Logan Paul versus Jake Paul. I don't know.
On Netflix.
I'll watch it.
Did you say,
It's
did you say HBO Max?
HBO Max. It says on Max. Adara, get it.
Yeah. Well.
Thank you very much there for that, Sharif. We actually do have the 7-year bond auction results, which we'll get into really quickly here. But, excuse me. So strong, a little bit weaker than the previous year for the 7-year bond auction high yield, 4.45 7% versus 4.532%. So again, 4.45% versus 4.53% previous, a little bit lower than the previous number here for the high yield. Here's Bitcoin. We're going to do a quick crypto rundown here. We do have some higher lows on the 15-minute chart, but definitely fighting some rejection here just above that 104 level. On this 15, I would say there's even clearer support at that just above 104, around this 104.2. So I'll have to wait and see what happens here for BTC. Let's take a look at Ethereum as well. And Ethereum continues to look a little bit more bearish than Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin making higher lows and a bit of a flat top. Ethereum looks a bit like a rounded top here, rejecting that area just above 3,200s. XRP we'll take a look at as well because it's been really strong today. And XRP looking, dare I say, distinctly different from Ethereum and Bitcoin. Higher highs, higher lows, and a bit of an uptrend. We know that Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, saying that he did, in fact, speak to Donald Trump about this whole crypto reserve. And he said that XRP and Bitcoin, as well as some other currencies, should be included in said reserve. So I'll have to wait and hear on that. But quick crypto rundown here before we send you back to the Bash Brothers. See you soon.
Being reported by Newsweek, Neil, so I don't know if this is going to be bad or not. Yeah, Neil believes it. Jake Paul set to fight his brother Logan Paul in shocking twist boxing match, reports Newsweek. And as I mentioned earlier, the date, March 27th, will be streamed live on Max. But as Neil was telling me off camera, I mean, like, this is the type of thing you would expect Netflix to get. We keep talking about. And Jake Paul posted it on his X, dude.
Did he?
Yeah, right there.
So there you go.
The moment you've waited a decade for, March 27th on stream on Max. Okay, I'm definitely watching it. You got Jake. I got Jake as well.
Yeah.
I think Logan. I don't know.
Couldn't even knock out Dylan Dennis.
He's not as focused on boxing as his brother.
No, he's more like WWE. He's a showman. Logan's more of a showman than what Jake is. I could talk fight game all day. We could have a 3-hour segment. But I mean, we all know that Logan he barely beat, well, not barely, it wasn't even close, but he couldn't knock out Dylan Dennis. Jake Paul's experience is just way more vast than Logan's. So I got Jake all day. Like easily. The thing is like I don't think they're going to really try to hurt each other or anything along those lines. Obviously they'll make it somewhat entertaining. But I was just saying to Sharif off camera, these guys are marketing geniuses. All right, these guys are just like some of the best at doing this, especially where they started and how they built their platform. They know exactly what to do and just make the things happen.
Their poor mom, Adara. Yeah.
We have a slew of stories just coming in right now. That is right, 3 midday breaking catalysts, because why not? So we'll go through all 3 that we just got here. First, Surgery Partners, SGRY. This name was already moving like a buyout. I guess it was reported that the company had received a proposal. Now Surgery Partners has confirmed that they received here this acquisition proposal of $25.75 per share from Bain Capital. Bain Capital already does have a 39% stake in the company. So SGRY confirming that they are set, or I guess there's been a proposal for their acquisition. Then we have Meta, META, which is actually, as of right now, making new all-time highs above 680. Apparently, according to the information, reporting that the company is transferring its Reality Labs oversight to its chief operating officer, Javier Olivan. So some Reality Labs updates here for META. And last but not least, before we send you back to the Bash Brothers, we must talk about Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo has faced some issues here from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau of the U.S. Now we have the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau calling Wells Fargo, quote, a repeat offender that continues to have, quote, serious issues. So Wells Fargo running afoul of the CPFB or CFPB once again here, guys. Back to the Bash Brothers.
Appreciate that. Crapstock, I see what you're saying in the chat. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But first, we got to fill out the data here on the Playmaker poll. Sharif, what do we got for an entry price?
All right, we got 604.42, Joseph.
604.42.
And then we're going to take everything as a stop. Or you want the stop?
Yeah, so we'll give me a stop.
603.42.
603.42.
Then we're going to wet our beak at 606.42.
606.42. Love it. Time in is 1:07 p.m. We got 100, one lot of that, guys. So here we are. Playmaker poll, 33 data points. Is this strategy profitable? We're shooting about just under a 50% here, but we're still profitable on this. Here's the equity curve, guys, on the Playmaker poll. Fantastic stuff. The cumulative P&L still positive. This thing has been working for us. Amazing strategy. I hope that you guys have been collecting data as well too, and utilizing how this can benefit your trading and help you to eliminate things that are not working for you, and then take advantage and really start to grow things that are working for you, all right? But Crapstock says, okay, so you think so you think you'd have something to say, no different when the boxing is now, it's disrespectful to boxers, what they are doing in boxing. I'm gonna have to slightly disagree on that.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I mean, Jake Paul's a legitimate. I mean, I don't know if
he's a legitimate fighter.
Yeah, he trains a lot. I mean, like he hasn't been training since he was a kid. Like if that's what you're trying to say, you know, so he's weaseling in later. But I think he's a legitimate fighter.
There's no question about it. He can beat a lot of people on this planet. Is he going to be fighting the pros like in the WBC, WBA, WBA? Probably not. But what he's doing is he's taking big names, some of the biggest names from combat sports, fighting them and dismantling them, embarrassing them essentially, all right? So yeah, exactly. One thing about boxing, I'm going to say this right now, is that you never get the big name fights that you really, really want. It takes so long for those fights to come to fruition, and it's annoying in the boxing world. There's too many weight classes, there's too many belts, and there's too many people that, like, whoever Devin Haney's fighting in the upcoming in his next fight, it's like, who is that guy? No one knows who that guy is, and these guys just go on and fight. They make the easy money fights so they can build their record. Jake Paul actually stuck his neck out and was like, okay, I'm fighting Anderson Silva, I'm fighting Tyron Woodley, all former champions, even though they may be out of their prime, but he's fighting some of the best names and putting on those big name fights that boxing has had the inability to do, with the exception of some fighters. Rant over.
I love it, bro. All right, throwing a couple of orders right now on RNAS. Picked it up at the 10 exponential. Let's see if this one wants to hold 15. We're 15.21 long. Not going to hold this anything below 15 because that's where the 10 exponential is. Let's see if we can get the fill here. I'm waiting at the 40s. The spread's opening up. Waiting for that fill, bro. Someone's selling up a storm here at the 40s, and the spread is opening up. Anything below 15, I'm gone on this one. It's going to have to hold that level. Here we go. It's dropping on the bid. Does it cross 15 on the ask? Trouble, trouble, trouble. It's going to have to hold up here. Move up, bro. Let's go. I'm waiting at 14s. I have an out initially on this one at 1660. So this one can move up. We know that. The high of the day, 1673, but it's not forthcoming to the high side right now. Let's throw a stop over here. There we go. Now we get the fill. It takes out the $0.50. Let's now wait on the higher area. I'm going to wait at I'm going to wait in the mid 60s over here. Let's see if we can get that move back up into 16 bucks at that area. So here comes the $0.50 again. Someone's selling at the $0.50. Does it continue to move on its way up? No. Selling a bit right now is RNAZ. Good stock today. Definitely looking for that 16 break and take, though, up 125%. The new poll is out, guys. Here it is. Some good names that you guys didn't see first time around. You got Apple. You got Meta. RNAS, the one I'm in right now, and then CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike is a dang rocket ship on the day. It has single-handedly, with its catalyst, lifted up that whole cybersecurity move. And I looked over to Neil, because Neil and I are both involved in PanDub, and PanDub got shellacked a little while ago, and nobody really understands why. It got into that $210 area, post-split, sold off. And, these names, I've been talking about this one for a while, they're high beta. So if you're going to involve yourself in the cybersecurity names, you got to be ready for the beta. But in any event, it did work its way down into that 200, I should say, exponential moving average on the daily. And so I looked to Neil, I'm like, did you buy? He's like, you know what, bought, man. So I was quite happy about that because him and I have been involved in that one for a hot minute. So shout out to Neil. Hope he prints up several storms. Oh, my bad. I didn't even see him there. I'm sitting there talking and trying to be all serious, and my man's catching cash. Get it.
Yes.
I love Randy, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Randy. Yeah, get it, Randy. Shout out to Adara as well. We're keeping an eye here on RNAS as we're waiting for that print in the high 80s, Joseph. It's coming into 79, 75s, and bang, we take it out again on RNAS. Good look right now on the NASD one. Let's see if this one wants to continue. I don't know, Brian. It's 3 hours, Joseph, of talking, bro. So give me a break over here. Yeah, so right now, Apple winning in the poll, guys, about 44%. Then the Zuck train, second right now with 29%. And true to form, the small cap gapper never gets any love in this chat, down 14%. And Crowd with 15%. CrowdStrike obviously had its issues in the summer. It has been a great trade, though, if you picked up CRWD at those lows, way off the lows that we got into the summer. In case you're wondering what I'm talking about, they did have a major outage that got a lot of people upset. Delta, including one of them. I think that they're still looking at suing CrowdStrike, if I'm not wrong, about that. So, yeah, they're not without headwinds, obviously. We'll have to wait and see. It's a contingent liability, right? Because you don't know if you're going to be on the hook or not. They say their contract absolves them of liability. Delta has a different view. So we're going to have to wait and see who ends up winning that bad boy. But it's still a possible headwind for the moment. Shout out to Ostentatious Productions. I'd fight Jake Paul for 1 million quid. Wait, I'm thinking of Jake Paul.
You can't read it?
Jane Paul. Is that their mother?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know, bro. You're killing me, bro. Yesterday, I had to read that thing out, and this guy, all right, today, Elon Musk, J-U-N-S. Let's have a look at J-U-N-S. Don't know what that is.
You know Canelo and Bud are going to fight? Possibly.
Bud?
Yeah, Bud Crawford.
Of course, I know Terrence Crawford. No way.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
Yeah, but
Terrence Crawford's an OG, bro.
Yeah,
I mean, that guy just destroyed
everybody.
What's his name? The Earl Spence. That was ridiculous.
Bro, that was a beating.
That was a beating. Terrence Crawford's really good. He reminds me a lot, in a different way, and obviously a different class, of Roy Jones Jr. When he was in his prime, like in the way that he can just fight out of the Philly shell whenever he wants. He can switch.
And he's powerful,
dude. Terrence Crawford is one of my favorite.
I think
fighters.
he beats Canelo because Dragos was saying, Canelo's out of his prime. I think
ever since Bivol, he hasn't been the same.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Valid point there. I think Dragos. I think that Terrence Bud beats Canelo, even though he has to move up 2 weight classes. In boxing, that's like 5 pounds, even though that can be quite a bit. But there is no rehydration clause.
Hold on. Let's double click on that for a second.
Yeah.
So the rehydration clause allows them to add weight subsequent to the weigh-in.
Yeah, exactly.
So in this case, they can come and weigh in whatever they want.
Whatever they want.
But isn't that the old way?
Yeah.
Isn't that how everybody used to do it back in the day until people started getting upset about the difference in weight?
Probably.
They were, bro. Everyone you'd like cut. You go and run in the sauna.
Weight bullies, right? Like that's what they would classify as weight bullies.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah, weight bullies. Yeah. Like a lot of people said Habib was a weight bully and like Islam's a weight bully because those guys really walk around at like 180, 175.
But that was always boxing. That was my understanding. Is like you always fought 2 or 3 divisions below your walk around weight, right?
Because everybody was trying to be a weight bully. Once everybody started figuring out that plan, right? It's like, okay, now you need to fight at a lower. So like I would have to fight at like 145 or something like that.
Yeah, look, I love Terrence Crawford, man. I think he's one of the most talented guys right now. Is he not?
No, he's definitely the best. He's probably, in my opinion, he's pound for pound.
And you got to give some to Tank though. Because Tank's got monsters in those hands.
Yeah. He was gifted from the gods himself.
Yeah, he's gifted in terms of strength. But here's what I like about him. He reminds me not of Floyd Mayweather style, but he's able to adapt to his opponent's style in the same way that Floyd did consistently.
Yeah,
you know
that's a very good point because there will be fights where he'll drop the first couple rounds, take reads, and then just read what they're gonna do next, and then that's how he has the ability to knock out his opponents is from switching his style, right? He like against Isaac Cruz, he beat Isaac Cruz with one hand. Right? Yeah, exactly. And it's like, how do you do that?
That was the uppercut that he caught him. That was the left uppercut, I think.
Something like that, yeah, and he broke his hand. And then, no, that was
different.
Santa Cruz. That
was it. My bad.
Santa Cruz threw the same punch 3 times, and Tank was laughing at him. He's like, why are you throwing the same punch 3 times? And then hits him with the uppercut and then just to sleep. So that wasn't.
What's his name? Rolly couldn't stand a chance.
No, Rolly stood no. chance.
Rolly's got a weak chin, bro.
Yeah,
Rolly's got
we
a
were saying
weak
about
chin, bro.
Rolly. He's not
Yeah.
like he's
Ryan
not like
Garcia's
smart,
gonna
but-
knock out Rolly. It's gonna be a
It's not even
bad
gonna be close.
knockout.
He's gonna get caught with the left hook so quick, and he's not even gonna know what hit him. But then it brings it back, like, who is this guy that Devin Haney is fighting? Like, you're fighting a nobody, bro.
I don't
That's
like
the
Devin Haney
frustrating.
at
I
all,
don't
bro.
like him
I
at
don't
all. He
like
tried
him at all.
suing
Him and his dad.
Did you see he tried
Yeah.
suing
For
Ryan Garcia?
assault.
Yeah, for battery.
It's
It's like,
so
yeah,
tough.
it's like, bro, whatever.
Anyway, guys, I'm sorry we got on a little bit of a tangent there. Kareem B says he's too little for Canelo. It's not a bad point. Look, I mean, Bud, where does Bud fight? He fights 154?
Yeah,
Super
something
welterweight?
Like that. Yeah, for even 47, I think he fights.
40 says, yeah, he can do
47,
welterweight.
yeah.
I think he can do junior middleweight, 154. I think Bud's power carries up to 160 as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Personally.
And I mean, the Canelo fought light heavy, right? When he beat
At Bivol.
Yeah.
But that
Bivol
was
and
that's
somebody
not
else.
his weight, bro. Bivol's coming down to fight at light heavy as well.
The
You know
beater,
what I mean?
I'm looking forward to Canelo Beaterbev too.
Ooh.
Yeah, right? 'Cause Beaterbev beat him in the first one where it was like, we don't know, but
Well,
there
exactly.
you go. So.
And Canelo doesn't have too many L's, though. He has, I think, that Floyd Mayweather L that was really early in his career. He kind of disputes that because he's like, I wasn't a.
Yeah, he was like 23 when he fought.
He was a child.
Yeah.
It was
But he
it's
did.
like 09, you know that, eh?
Dude, that was a
09, 10,
long
that was a
time
really
ago.
long time ago.
Canelo lost to Gennady in the first fight. Gennady Golovkin. Of
course.
But the judge gave a ridiculous scorecard. I remember that. And it's like, yo, how? But then he absolutely obliterated him next time.
I don't know if I like Golovkin's style, bro. He's
He's like, yeah, just move forward. Yeah, just move forward. But yeah, guys, let's get back into some stock talk here. A lot of people are asking us to take a look at Apple. We're gonna bring that up for you real quick. I mentioned this before. I had a couple swing plays that worked out really nice here, and that we were down 15% off the highs, and now really starting to recover around $238. We're trading at Apple. Let's take a look at it from a zoom in here and look at it from an intraday perspective. Still hovering around those highs and holding the volume weighted average price really, really well here, guys. Apple is something that I like. Earnings report coming up Thursday evening, sorry. And that's where we got to take it from there. We got to see something about these iPhone sales and how the ecosystem is doing. What's the term that I'm looking for? I'll think about it later, but again, just the ecosystem and the services, everything to do with Apple, I think that's going to be really important. iPhone 16 sales as well, too, going to be really important. So let's see what's going to happen with that. But we got another, as Katina Man would like to say, face slapper here on NVIDIA? On Amazon. Cheese. Yeah. So,
today,
exactly.
Bro.
So Amazon, here we go, guys. Really starting to gap down. Why did I take this trade? Let me pull it up on here so you can see it a little bit more clear. And it's the signals that I talk about again and again. Inverted hammer at an extreme high. Now getting that pullback. Let's see if we hold these levels or run into the volume weighted average price. But that is Amazon.
All right. I'm just looking at the Meg right now. Great look at the Meg. They're all really doing well, except Amazon. Obviously, Joseph getting that one on the way down. They're all really up into the right. The one that is kind of surprising me a little bit that I anticipated a breakout on is Tesla. And let's have a look over here because I was talking about this double bottom, and then this area crest for the double bottom at around 395. It looks like we're still hugging that 395 area despite the fact that we have lower highs. How do we maximize this thing? Is there a way? Yeah, there it is, maximize. Good job, Sharif. So this is we're putting in higher lows on Tesla. So despite the fact that we're not really moving beyond that 395 with aggression, the way that I would anticipate a breakout through this area crest is, we are putting in higher lows. So we could be on our way maybe into that 398, 399 area. That is the area crest there that we put in the pre-market right around 8:30 or so. I know we got durable goods numbers or something like that in the morning. So we'll keep tabs on that. Could have been the reason why that spiked. So how do I make this go smaller? Restore. There we go. Good job. All right, so keeping an eye on those. Let's see what the situation is with our other trade right now on BHF. So I've been waiting for this one to move back into at least that $0.50 so I can get the hell out of there. It's been defending 59, but this feels like it's going to be a flat bottom break. Maybe I should just get it out here and lose 50 or 40 pennies on this trade. I don't like it because of the lower lows, lower highs. It's defending 59, but it's putting in lower highs with a flat bottom. We've seen this story before, and it usually doesn't end well for me. Just telling you, quite frankly, that $59 area looks like it is going to give way because the selling is more aggressive than the buying right now. I did have opportunities to get out break even. I didn't take them, so this looks like it's going to be an L for me on the day. I'm talking about BHF. Got into it because it was a nice bull flag looking pattern with VWAP holding up when I got in. That is no longer the case, and it looks as if, you know, we could get some downside movement over here. I also want to look at ASAN because this one I had eyes on for a pullback into the volume weighted average price. So I've been waiting for a long time here on ASAN. It's been rejecting that $22 area, not strictly because it got into 22.08, but most of the closing prints, if not all, are below $22. Now we're breaking down into that 2/3 of a dollar area. However, last time we were down here, we did defend that $0.50. Look at that double bottom on the 5-minute. One candle here, one candle there, defending 250. So if this doesn't hold at 250, I'm going to be on the lookout now for ASAN to hold at 250. If it doesn't hold at 250, then I'm looking at 21 1/3. Because that's where VWAP is. I'd like to take this one off VWAP or that 22.5 or 21.5, excuse me, because it's been very, I don't want to say strong on the day. It's obviously strong, up 7%, but it's holding that level, right? It's not really giving up that level much in the way at all. So if it ends up holding there, I don't mind getting in on a bit of a dip trade. Let's see what everybody's talking about there in the chat. Pretty Panda, NVNI, gonna waste the rest of my night. It's stable until it's not. Been there, brother. Shout out to my man Jay Lee, Sharif, Joe. Holo is going up, by the way. Take a look. Say less, Jay. Let's have a look at HOLO. This is a former runner. In case you have not been watching the show for a while, this has been one of those ones where it appears every so often, and we can trade it. But a lot of the times, it ends up being like this, Jay, where it does the Christmas tree retracement, essentially giving back the entire day's move. And when we look at the daily chart, we kind of get that sense that it is a former runner, but it always seems to close well off the highs, just generally. Yeah, so right now, you know, the last little while here, it looks like it was the end of last year to earlier this year. We had the movement, then we had an outsized day for Holo a couple of days ago, I think. On Friday, that was the 27th? No, that was yesterday. The 27th is yesterday. This one topped up almost into $3, but look at that, Jay. We dropped all the way right back down, closing closer to the lows than the highs. The current look on the 5-minute, well, it took VWAP. So look, if it defends that 190 area, this is a good trade. Possibly to take out 2, but right now, it's an inside day. We're above yesterday's lows and obviously below yesterday's highs on HOLO. So we'll keep tabs on this one. No question about that. Let's see what else everybody is talking about there. Fed minutes today. No. So today is the Fed meeting, the first day of the Fed meeting. We don't usually get, or well, we don't ever get information about the rate decision on the first day. It's almost always the second day. And we expect Jerome Powell to take the mic at 2:30. Widely expected that it's going to be a hold. We'll find out that at 2 o'clock, and then the market will react. Usually you'll see an algo spike or two. But the real commentary and the real volatility, I should say, likely to be expected at 2:30. What I'm listening for tomorrow is not whether inflation is cooling or heating up again. I think that that's pretty well established. What I want to hear from the Fed chair is about the tariffs, the incoming tariffs, and how inflationary they could be, and what he anticipates, or what the FOMC anticipates the effects of those. There it is. It's breaking. BHF is breaking below 59. I knew it was going to flat bottom break, and now I'm out. So we'll take a loss on that one. But to go back into my point, I want to see what the FOMC is thinking in terms of these tariffs. Because, like, think about it like this. Southern Ontario basically provides GM, Ford, and you know that whole area where you guys create cars in the Rust Belt with a lot of the products, a lot of the the input. Let's call them the input products into manufacturing, car manufacturing. So those are all going to be markedly more expensive because we're going to have response tariffs to your 25% tariffs. So all of a sudden, GM's buying these input costs from Magna and these other distributors and suppliers in Southern Ontario at 25% more. So GM's not going to absorb that cost. They're going to pass it on to the consumer. And that's going to happen. There's going to be a chain effect there. So do they have anything to say about that? That's what I want to hear from them, and that's what I'm going to be listening for. I don't anticipate too much in the way of, inflation separately than tariffs. But we also talked about, you and I before, that a strong economy usually brings with it some inflationary pressures.
Exactly.
If people are making more money, if there's more productivity, they likely got a couple of bucks in their pocket, and people have a way of spending that rather than saving it.
GDP and kind of inflationary kind of go hand in increase
A little
in
bit,
GDP
yeah.
and inflation.
It really depends where the growth is coming from. Is it coming from stimulus, or is it coming organically through growth, right?
Okay, that's a very valid point there. Again, I heard as well too that people just classify tariffs as a consumption tax, which I don't necessarily disagree with that. Kind of makes sense. How is it going to affect? Only time will tell, and we'll see from that standpoint. But Jerome Hatt, thank you for the kind words. You guys are killing it in the chat today. I know a lot of you have traded NVDA, so hopefully you guys have put in those green sessions and enjoy. Well, after the show is done, you can go enjoy yourself. Celebrate the wins, as Neil and Sean were saying. Yeah, you gotta celebrate those wins when they come. Don't party too hard, that is, because you gotta perform the next day. And best believe it's not going to be any easier. So here you are. Thank you to them. Document almost exposed. Yeah, NVDA is still crawling higher. We're sitting in that one, 120.96. Look at I like the Amazon one equally as much here as well, too, guys. If we can pull up my chart. Bro. So here we go. Off of those signals, time and time again. Since you guys, well, actually no, it's something else, but we talk about the VPA signals all the time. I just saddle time, just sitting in the seat, watching these screens. When I'm at home, I literally will just put on my replay, Sharif, and I'll just run previous days in the market and just watch, and then have things on in the background and just do multiple things at once while I'm watching this. So yeah, it's just time. It's time. And someone in the chat, their name is Success is Inevitable. I agree with that, but a quote that I really like, Sharif, is that I seen in my gym years and years ago, is the bridge between goals and accomplishments is discipline. So I live by that. So, and we talked about discipline as well too. You're not going to be motivated all the time. You just need to be disciplined. You got to do things that you don't want to do. I'm sure you don't want to go to the gym every day, even though I guess you're a beast. Some days. Yeah, some days you're a beast. So maybe you're not. You might not be the best example. Yeah. But there's days where you're like, I don't feel like it. But those are the days where you just need to get up and do it the most, man.
Absolutely agreed, Joseph. Yeah. RNAS on the way down here, so it's breaking through the 10. It's breaking through the 20. I'm earmarking 13 or about 12 3/4 as possible support. That is the volume weighted average price. Let's see how far this one wants to go down. It dipped into about 13.50 or so. We have some buyers coming in. It looks 60, sorry, not 50. We do have a buyer stepping in 60s over here. We held it up over here at 126 and over here at 30s at 130. So there is a buyer at 1360. It doesn't matter though, we're still putting in lower highs. I'm earmarking, as I said, between 12 3/4 to 13. Possible dip trade here on RNAS. It's been quite directional. I want to say the only triple digit winner on the day, but that would be wrong. There is another one, DXF, but this one's done absolutely nothing since we got onto the show. There's also another one, SLXN, which is doing nothing either, below VWAP, trying to hold that dollar. So this is really the only triple-digit winner, in my opinion, that's tradable at the moment. Double bottom right now at 1360, breaking above 14 again. Does it change the high or low, or sorry, the lower high situation? Well, based upon the 125 candle, we change that lower high situation if we get above 1460. We're showing 14 1/3 right now, about to take 40. So we'll see what this one wants to do and whether or not this presents us with another opportunity to trade RNAZ. Multiple entries and exits on this. My initial one was a loser, and then we kind of weaseled back into this one, trading it all the way into the high of the day right there at 16 3/4. Well below that level right now. Zero Gravity Zen. I like the tangents. It breaks up the intensity of trading. I know, brother. Well, we got a 3-hour show to fill too, right? So, and besides, we know that there's so many different interests with viewers in the chat there. So we try to, kind of overlap with our interests and your interests. People seem to love the boxing talk. People like the AI talk.
Yeah, exactly.
The big boys talk football a lot in the morning show as well. So that's the look there. Sorry, Neil, I didn't mean to bring up football. My bad. Right. That's the look there. Obviously, Neil's still recovering.
Is he still recovering?
He's still recovering.
I seen that he said he didn't have a drink. He wasn't drinking during the game. Not even after.
I don't even think Neil drinks that much. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he doesn't drink all that
There you go. Stir the pot, baby. Let's go.
No, I have a thing. Like if the Bills win in the playoffs, I cracked the blue label. But I kind of believe that it's like a celebration thing. When you lose, I'm not trying to drink sorrows away.
No.
Like the whole you have a bad day trading.
Yo,
That's
that's
the last
tough,
thing I want.
Nate.
I'd rather celebrate and have it be a
toughness.
happy thing more than anything else. But I made a rant about Dalton Kincaid. His teammate, that's the guy that dropped the fourth down pass that could have put them into field goal range for the Buffalo Bills, and they could have tied the game at the end there. His teammate and fellow tight end mentioned that he'd been playing through a pretty severe knee injury. That's why maybe he had some struggles. So probably a little bit harsh on them. But you got to it's like getting back. You got to get back on the saddle. At the end of the day, if you can't be happy with your team being in the top 4, it's disappointing, but it's still an impressive result, right? It's like getting 80% of a move. There's some kind of a fire test going on. If you get 80% of the move, you should be happy. You're not happy that you didn't get 100%, but you should be happy overall. So, it looks like we're getting some fire alarm testing this afternoon, so ignore any noise that you might hear in that regard.
Annoying. Thank you very much, Neil. Worst time for them to chime in about the fire alarm. But, we got to deal with that around here at least once a month, Joseph. We gotta make sure everything's good on that end.
Yeah.
Guys, I was keeping an eye on Holo. Shout out to Jay Lee, who was telling me about HOLO. And I was of the opinion that, this one didn't really have a shot. I mean, there was really no catalyst. It's up 18 3/4, but we're still kind of an inside day versus yesterday. We took out VWAP. We're at $2. We just took out $2. We got into 204. We're still below the pre-market high, Jay. So if I'm going to get involved in this one, it's got to take out $2.05. That 218 seems to be a bit of a double top. If it continues on its merry way, definitely get involved with HOLO. It's a former runner, so one that we know all too well, but I'm not going to jump into that one just yet. ASAN, I was talking about this level as well, this $0.50 level. On ASAN, because we did defend the $0.50. We're coming close to that level right now. If we get into that $0.50 and we bounce, I'm going to go long. Otherwise, I'm looking for that 21 1/3 now. That's where the volume weighted average price is on ASAN. I have this order out, which is no longer accurate, waiting at 21 1/4. I'm going to go ahead and throw that order right now at 21 1/3. I'm going to front run it by a couple of shekels, Joseph. So we're going to throw that out there. But again, I'm looking for that $0.50. Take a break, pay some bills.
Hey, that's it. We ready for this one here?
Oh, I thought we were.
Now we are.
Okay.
E-Signal, trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to an elite trading experience. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Foresee profitable opportunities with the platform you need. Infinite data, instant trading, know where the market is moving before others with lightning fast data. Charts that change the game, customize and analyze markets faster, your way. Better backtesting and scanning, predict the future by understanding the past. Reliable real-time data, up to the second market info from hundreds of global markets. Everything you need, all in one place. Don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description. Attention, attention. E-Signal is right there, guys. Sharif, there was a really important question in the chat that I think it should be answered, and I think you probably have a really good answer for this. It says, Romza says, hey, Sharif and Joseph, any tips for not dying of FOMO?
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. That really hasn't been one of my afflictions before. I've never been afflicted by FOMO and punching stupidly. That's just not been my thing. So I don't have too much to give advice on that, but I don't know. I don't have anything to add to this.
Yeah, well, I think just being able to recognize for yourself that you're feeling that type of emotion, And from that standpoint, that's where you just kind of learn and start to grow. Understand that those feelings will come, but they will also go, because tomorrow is a new day. So just remember that. There will always be another trade, and there will always be another better trade as well too. You may have missed out on today, but again, tomorrow is a new one. It's best to go to the movies, says Ram, so you can watch something there, whatever, maybe you'll get a nice big bag of popcorn, extra large Coca-Cola, no ice, and then there you go. Take it from there. Step away from your world. Exactly. There you go. Spitting facts over here. The one with the large NVDA position going on says, hey, there's things that you can do to avoid these types of, well, you're not going to avoid them, but the better understanding that you have of them and then that they will come, then you just have to learn to accept it. As you get more experienced in trading, you won't feel them as strong, but they'll be there. And just understand that, and there will always be a better opportunity.
All right, Joseph. Yeah, no, good point there, dude. Great call out by Ram. Yeah, look, I mean,
I don't know about the movies.
I think the real idea is to stick to your plan and stay disciplined. I mean, we were just filming these kind of lessons for the prop floor that we have over here, and every single segment that we filmed ended in discipline. And I mean, obviously it's a little funny, but I don't happen to disagree with that. Discipline is everything, and if you stick to your plan, I think you'll be okay. So that's the situation. All right, guys, we're long Taiwan semi right here at an interesting area, 199.50. This is a former area crest, which obviously rejected and dropped markedly there, about $2 since that time. So I'm getting in here. I've already scalped a little bit here on Taiwan semi to the high side, looking for a possible move back into 200, but I have a good entry. So anything I believe below that 30 penny area, I'm gonzino. So let's go ahead and throw that on there. I'm going to put in the stop super quick here on Taiwan semi, and we're going to put it all the way down. Let's flip there. We're going to give it to around $0.25 there. So we'll throw that out there. Looking for this one to bounce back up. Shout out to, who's telling me about this right now? Not Jay Lee, Daryl Finch. TSM gave me that dollar from 295 short. Let's go. 201 to 200 was previous support, so maybe possible fade now. I don't think you're wrong, but I do see a possible scalp opportunity from here just off that 199.50 because it was an area rejection, so I'm looking for it to defend again. But we're going to give this one very little room. We're at the $0.50, so we'll give it to around the quarter dollar, looking for it to pop back up, maybe into scalp in the mid-80s or in and around that area. So keep an eye out on that. I have NVIDIA pulling in, Joseph, into that 20 exponential moving average. High of the day right now, 126.92. The reason I'm mentioning NVIDIA, obviously, it's another chip name. So we'll keep tabs on that. The future couldn't make it quite up into that 21,600 area. So got up into 21,584. Now we're below the 50-point area, so I'm keeping an eye on the MAX 7 and obviously the futures, so we can see exactly what the situation is with the overall market. Keeping tabs on that. We'll keep you guys updated. Let's look back at the RNAS. Okay, here we go.
Like Uber too, man.
Say that again? Uber, yeah, down 1.89. We were talking about that earlier. Wow. No idea what's going on there. Adara did look, and she still doesn't see anything. I just heard her. Yeah, it's down again, Joseph, down almost 2% now. So a bit of a tougher look right now for Uber. Let's keep an eye out on that as well. I was going to load up, RNAS and ASAN are coming into areas of I don't want to say importance, but interesting areas. RNAZ coming really close to that volume weighted average price at around 12 3/4. For right now, it's defending 13. We'll see if it can hold up at VWAP. Likewise with ASAN, this one's coming into the volume weighted average price. I'm not picking this one up at 50s because it didn't give me that 50 hold. So now I'm looking at that third of a dollar hold. 21.35, 21.33, something like that on ASAN. Let's see if this one will hold VWAP, and we'll weasel right back into it. Joseph, how are those trades doing? You're killing it today, brother.
Yeah. Here's Amazon. We only have like 10% here. Short on that signal that I talked to you guys about, and then we just started taking it out as we go. And then here we go with some NVDA. Still holding on to this, not much either. Rolling into the latter half of the session here around 140. But again, let's see if we continue to climb higher. It's a nice recovery, but mind you, we were down 17% at the lows yesterday on NVDA. With like a record number of market capitalization diminished from the market just like that through an 8-hour span, even just a little bit more than that. But here we go, guys, up about 6.2% on the session. So yeah, that's the look. But I think I like the Amazon slightly more. There we go with that one. Nice short off of the all-time highs there on Amazon. So price discovery territory for this one. I think Amazon was one of the companies that I wanted to get involved in a long time ago, and I didn't. It was actually, I remember I bought a series of options, my first options trading. So we'll go back a little bit in time here, guys. And my first trades were an Amazon call and a JPM call. And what did I have those at? And that's when I really didn't know too much. So it was way, let's see where we go, 23. I forget where it was, but it was back in early 23, I think. Way before that. But anyways, it was relatively cheap, yeah. So it must have been somewhere in here, yeah, really early 23 or late 22. And I bought some Amazon calls, and I wish I held on to those a little bit longer because the next day it popped, and I was like, oh, nice. The account is up, and then I sold it, and then it just traded significantly higher. And kind of the same thing happened with JPM. So I'm like, oh, okay, missed out on those two. And then I decided to trade, what was it? What is, guys in the chat, remind me of what Warren Buffett, Occidental Petroleum, Oxy was one of the other ones that I bought, and it just did not work out for me. And I'm like, okay. So I'm going to avoid the energy space via options contracts after that. But that was a long time ago, right? So keep that in mind. But XLE, considering we're going to talk a little bit about energy, oh, wow, off the bottoms here, guys, we went on a really nice run, over 11%, 13% from peak to trough there, off the lows, guys. So, but now starting to pull back a little bit here as well, too. But I think a lot of people, I was watching some CNBC last night, and they're like, yeah, energy, if you can get involved in this at some point, we know that Donald's going to have the drill, baby, drill, and everything going on from the AI infrastructure and et cetera. I think energy may be a play, but if you were to look at the XLE from an ETF standpoint and what's going on in the overall space, which is a good metric to gauge, it doesn't look like the best investment, in my opinion. Can things start to pick up? I think they will, especially with the upcoming narrative. But yeah, again, XLE pulling back off of that recent high here, the year highs, and something that maybe you look to get involved from that standpoint. But yeah, that's that. What's your trading edge, Sharif and Joe? That's a very vague question. The trading edge is just a lot of seat time and realizing what comes to you and what stands out to you, and then utilizing and taking advantage of that and refining your system is how you construct your edge. My edge won't work for you and vice versa. So you need to come up with that on your own. Mimicking and mirroring trades doesn't have a long lifespan. So you need to put in the time there and understand what is going to work and what isn't going to work for you. So head and shoulders on SPY, 1 minute chart. Let's take a look at that. Kahlua, SPY. And we'll zoom in and see what we got going on from a 1 minute standpoint. Yeah, I see what you're looking at here. Good point out there. So let's see if we break this support level. If we do, potentially some more downside. And that is okay because we went on a nice run. Market recovering from yesterday, even though it didn't get beat up. Oh, I guess it did, but we're above those here. Oh, let's zoom out. Sorry, I'm all over the place. Okay, so yeah, we're off those all-time highs. Big gap down, but really entered the gap pretty strong and then now filled up about half of it. So there it is, head and shoulders on the SPY, 1 minute. I think that this market is going to continue in its strength, especially if NVDA decides that it wants to recover. This can really bring this thing to new heights if DeepSeek turns out to be some false news.
Oh, God, yeah. Especially if we get data that the whole thing was cooked.
Yeah.
Look, a lot of people are not saying that, though. That's the funny thing.
Right?
You see what your boy Jensen, I don't know if it came from Jensen.
He said it was legit, though.
Yeah, it came from NVIDIA. So I got to read the article, so I didn't hear it from the king's mouth. But he was saying that it was a real deal. That but he had an incentive to say that because he doesn't want his chips that are export banned to fall into the hands of DeepSeek, right? Because it's not a good look for him. And then you're going to raise the ire of the government. So it was kind of in his interest to say, oh, no, they were using the H800s. They weren't the H100s. But that he said it.
Yeah.
So whether or not that ends up being true or not, we'll have to find out, guys. Interesting stuff all around, though, with this whole thing. I mean, super interesting. I love being involved in this kind of stuff. Guys, we're back into RNAS over here because it got into the volume-weighted average price. We're long at the $0.50 exactly. I've already scalped up a couple of moves. We took out 60s. We took out 70s. Now I'm waiting at 80s and 90s. Let's see if this one holds up and gives us a possible bounce off the volume-weighted average price. Not right now, it's not. So it's giving us, it's holding VWAP, but we're not taking out the other orders that I have there. So this one giving back a little bit now, down below 100%, about 98% or so. I also got into ASAN, just as I said I would, at the volume-weighted average price. I'm giving this to the $0.25, so we're going to risk a little bit, about 15 pennies on ASAN. Let's see if it holds up at VWAP. It is currently... You're kidding me, Taiwan Semi. You mother.
TSM.
Yeah, it forced me out of that. And now it's rocketing up. Look at this. Look, I got bottom wick.
Yo, dude, that thing's hard
I
to
suck, bro. No, I had the right idea. I just needed to give it more room. TSM, about to take out 200 again. I was long at the $0.50, and it forced me out. So I got shaken out there. It was the weekend there. So we'll keep eyes on that one. I won't probably trade it right now, but... yeah, that was frustrating because I had the right idea on that. All right, so just involved in RNAS at the moment and ASAN. Let's see if they hold up. There's not too many small cap gappers of note today. There's really only been a couple to talk about, and RNAS has been like the king of them all. If that is the case, it's really good. Does it stay good though? Good area. VWAP's an interesting area to pick these ones up off. Whether we get a bounce off VWAP into the high side, again, an entirely different story. Don't get FOMO, Sharif Pickle Jim. No, bro, I'm not gonna punch into it again. But I thank you. Yeah, Roland Joe. Hey, I just saying that. I said mother. That's all. That's all. Cody King, SoFi, VWAP bounce. You want to look at that for him?
VWAP, SoFi.
I can look at it if you want.
Yeah, sure. Let's pull up SoFi. Dude.
SoFi so good.
SoFi so good
yeah,
here.
Nice VWAP. Possible.
Possibly, yeah, possibly.
It hasn't respected, though, VWAP on the day, Joseph. I mean, it's zigged a little bit above it, a little bit below it. It could start respecting it now.
Still down about 2.1% here on the session here, Sharif. So hopefully, sorry, I want to zoom out here and see what we got going on. Yeah, possible VWAP bounce, but look at this. If you zoom out on that 5-minute time frame, Sharif, you see that potential double top being put in right there. So yeah, again, let price action tell you, let the time of sales tell you as well too. But again, I'll emphasize on this. I know like we trade a lot of names, but SoFi had earnings, I believe, earlier in the week or whatever, last week or whatever it may be, later last week. But is this really, I get it has 32 million shares traded, but when you have high-level catalysts and high-level events going on, like we got some big earnings coming up tomorrow. We had an insane dump on NVDA. Am I going to be paying any attention to SoFi? No. Like, there's other bigger things in play, in my opinion. And I found that, back to that edge question, is just stick to where the majority is going. If there's extreme amounts of relative volume, as the guys like to look at RVol and pre-market volume that I literally run my scans on, I'm going to stick to those. I'm not going to go and try to find something that I think, well, okay, yeah, let me see if I can outsmart the market here and find kind of like that diamond in the rough. That's not my style. I want to stick with what is displaying to me on my chart, what's in play right now, and stick to those names. And I don't know if SoFi is one of those, man.
Yeah, I mean, SoFi had a really good 2024.
They did.
Like Robinhood, SoFi, a lot of these like DeFi or fintech companies, you could call them, had fantastic times. And so did the banks in general, because it was the Donald Trump tailwind. Essentially, we were looking for deregulation in the banking industry. And, you know, they caught a bit of a bid towards the end of last year. It's cooled down a little bit now. I haven't had a look at XLF to see what the situation. Let's actually take a gander right now.
Yesterday was its earnings. So earnings day too. So yeah, I can eat my words on that.
I can report on it because I've done my notes on what they were up to. So here it is. Let's talk about SoFi. Was it today? Well, it was yesterday, right? Yesterday's, yes. So I've got yesterday's notes up. Thanks, Adara, for that. So let's see what SoFi was up to. Meta, Electric, SoFi, here we go. So net earnings. Oh, this was the guide.
Yeah, it was the guide.
The guide was light. So they killed on the top and bottom line, exceeding expectations on earnings and adjusted net revenue. The guide, the forward guide, with respect to EPS. So profitability was below forecast, even though their adjusted net revenue was above analyst expectations. They also noted that they have a tax obligation for 2025 that's not actually reflected in their consensus EPS, which is probably another reason why they sold off. With that was the full year 2025 guidance. With respect to Q1 of 2025, the upcoming quarter, adjusted net revenue above the street's expectations, but again, it comes down to EPS earnings below what Wall Street was looking for there. So we'll keep an eye on that. We know that they've really been trying to change their moat. They were basically more known, I want to say, for refinancing student loans, which kind of hurt them a little bit when Biden was forgiving all those people their student loans. But they've since changed. Obviously, now they're a technology platform, financial services. They call their depositors members. So a bit of a different look over there at SoFi. So we'll keep tabs on that. RNAS got a couple outs there, got several outs actually, into the 80s now. It's coming back down now below my entry, about 20 pennies below. It's going to have to hold 13, or not actually. The volume weighted average price is around 12.83, so it's going to have to hold VWAP. Otherwise, we're going to get out of this one. Don't want to give too much back on RNAS, but it's already coming down to 13, Joseph, looking like it might be rejecting that 13.5. Had a lot of trouble continuing north of that 13.5 here. So VWAP might just be a line on the chart right now for RNAS. Not really bouncing off it the way that I expect, but this one was really strong earlier today. Kunarza, probably butchered your name. I do apologize. $5 super chat. Thank you very much for that. Have a look at BlackBerry. Let's look at BB. Let's see what BB's up to these days. Let me just load up BlackBerry. Let's see what the situation is with BlackBerry. All right. Oh, okay. Up 6%. No idea why this is moving. Looking at my news blotter to see if there's anything specific to BlackBerry on the day. I don't really see anything over here, but it's breaking out. It's above yesterday's high. It's above these local highs. Let's flip to the 4-hour here on BB. What? Neil, have you seen this? This is BlackBerry. Not bad. Not bad. Well off the lows. It looks like we definitely defended that 2.25 for a while. And now we're at $4. Okay, I really don't even want to go to the daily. Yeah, I know. Oh, Canada, right? Let's go to the daily. Joseph, what is this, bro? We're getting into... Yeah, well, we're above the May high. This looks awfully bull flaggish here. This is a good move. It's not giving it back. There's a big move up off that 220, 250. Now 4 1/3. Not a bad look at all here for BlackBerry. Definitely, obviously, nowhere near all-time highs, but we're above the 200 and we're above the 50. And you got that golden cross, mind you. I think on Boxing Day, December 24th, the red line crossed above the blue line. That's what we call the golden cross, where the 50 crosses above the 200. In addition to that, you're above this area crest over here at $4. And you're not doing these quick retracements where you make a big move up, then give everything back. In fact, you're kind of putting in higher lows here. That's why I call this a bull flag. Great call-out. Thank you for showing me this. I did not have eyes on BlackBerry, nor would I have known about this. Shout out to you. Thanks for calling that out. Joseph, what do you got?
Yes, sir. Oh, that was a nice little move to me there. But here we go, guys. Apple still hovering around these highs. We were just talking about some SoFi. Let's pull up, I like Amazon a little bit more right now. And here we go, bouncing off the volume weighted average price. I'm probably going to get out of the last little bit right here because we are at the lows, holding the VWAP really well. So we'll just get out. Boom, that trade's done. Out of that. So here, this is the trade on Amazon today, guys. Short here and then just piece it out all the way down. No ads. That's something that I definitely need to work on as well too. $5 Canadian super chat. We'll go over that in just 1 second. But yeah, holding VWAP now, starting to bounce off it is Amazon. Let's pull up NVDA because that's what we're going to talk about next. Now still slowly climbing higher streak, knocking on the door of a 7% recovery here. Is the king of the chips. Starting, again, now these dark pools, sorry guys. Yeah, get it, king. But here we are. Play the breakout and then all the way to the top side. Thoughts on NVIDIA earnings for February 26th. Is it February? Oh, yeah, that would make sense. So next month. I mean, thoughts? I think that they're going to have another blowout quarter. Is that growth rate going to continue? No, it's pretty hard to sustain that type of growth rate. Are they going to lower guidance? I don't know, maybe. But I think time will have to tell on this one. We know that the demand for Blackwell is through the roof. There's already a lineup out the door for these things. Masayoshi Son being the first in that line to receive the Blackwell. But after that, you know that Meta is investing $60 billion and so on. So you have these big players starting to really pick up steam and invest more money into this chip space. And NVDA is going to be the primary beneficiary of this. So here we go. We're bullish on this thing. Even though we did have a massive sell-off yesterday, a lot of analysts have a $200 tag on this name, and I don't disagree. I think NVIDIA is the one, and it's going to continue to be the one for the next, especially in this AI arms race, and with the growth of tech and everything along those lines. I think NVDA is going to be at the top of its class.
Yeah, man, it's kind of hard to bet against it right now. Obviously, it's a little bit of a moment, where you kind of question that whole thing. We'll have to wait and see. All right, guys, keeping an eye here on RNAS. It's coming down into my exit. I was able to take out some more here in the 20s and 30s, but it's below 13 again. I'm trying not to paper hand this trade because it's still above VWAP, but it's looking like the bears are in control of RNAS at the moment. At least that's the feeling I get. VWAP not really acting as a support level that I anticipated, and quite frankly, it breached VWAP earlier when it got back down to it. I'm talking about that 11 a.m. candle to about 11:20. It did breach it, and then obviously it made new highs after that. But it is now 2 o'clock. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to send you to the big boys to our right, Neil and Sean. However, Joseph and I will be back, same bat time, same bat channel. More Elliott Wave Theory tomorrow. Get it, big boys.
Yes.
They're early. We're not even ready yet. Not even ready.
No, 20 seconds.
Come on, guys.
18 seconds.
Come on, guys.
15 seconds. We still got 10 seconds. I feel like Bill Burr when he does his Philly rant. He's like, still got 7 minutes to go. That's one of my favorite all-time sets. If you've never heard the Philly rant by Bill Burr, then, well, I mean, okay, well, A, make sure you're into comedy. There's a